Okay, I'm hitting it.
Yeah.
All right, we should be live. Let us know if our volume levels are okay. Hi, I'm Taylor and Celestri. I'm the social media manager and development leader for Eclipsed Sounds.
I am Neve. Hello, I am the lead designer at Eclipsed Sounds, and I helped to guide the design for Solaris.
Hello, I'm Conady. I'm Elijah. I use he, him pronouns. I am the creator of Eclipsed Sounds, the founder of Eclipsed Sounds, and so I do all the fun stuff, like paperwork. But I also tune the Solaris demonstration so far.
I'm Iduna. I use he, him pronouns. I'm the product head. And mostly my job is like finalization work, making sure everything goes smoothly, just sort of like straightening out the nitty-gritty details like that. Celeste, the chat says you are clipping slightly.
All right, I'll talk either quieter or
I can
think
turn
I've
you down, but I
adjusted the
cannot
gain.
turn Neve up anymore.
Okay, so what I'm hearing from the chat is Eli and Neve need to be louder. I need to be quieter. I'm too excited, guys. I have to talk loud.
I can just turn you guys down. I have you guys.
I will talk a little bit louder. How about that too?
And just let us know over the course of the
Okay.
over the stream, and we'll adjust our volumes accordingly.
Yeah.
Just slowly adjusting.
Slowly adjusting.
That's
Solaris doing paperwork. You're so right.
Solaris at a desk job.
We love an organized queen.
I'm so bad at. I'm sorry, you guys get to see how bad I am at navigating tabs.
All right, so I guess let's just look at this crowdfund page for a second. Thank you for getting us to 102%.
Yes,
thank you so much. On Indiegogo, overall, I think we're about at Iduna, didn't you say we're almost at 120%?
Oh, we are at 120%.
We are just at 120%. So thank you so much for getting us to 120%. So now that we've done our introductions, I'll just start with the hourly announcements. So overall, our stream schedule is looking like, you know, this is our final live stream of the crowdfunding campaign. And we're going to go all the way up till midnight on the East Coast, which is 4 hours before the crowdfund ends, since it does end at midnight on the West Coast. But since we're mostly all based on the East Coast, we can't stay up much later than that, given that we've all been up very early today. So that's our stream schedule for tonight. Our current funding, we just talked about that. We're at 120%, essentially. And so the crowdfund funding, this is probably logistical stuff that we're getting out of the way right away. The crowdfund funding is held by Indiegogo for 2 weeks. So during those 2 weeks, we'll just be setting everything up. We'll be starting to get, we'll be starting data collection, and getting everything together for starting to order all of the merchandise for fulfillment and everything like that. So that'll be the next 2 weeks. If we hit the stretch goal funding during the stream, excuse me, we'll talk a little bit more about like what the stretch goal will entail. But right now, since we've already hit 100%, we should, and we do at the end of the stream, we'll have a little announcement. We have a fun announcement that relates to about half of the stretch goal. And in 2 hours at 10 p.m., Circus, the vocally producer Circus, will join us. And we're not going to focus on questions, but if we see any in chat, we'll answer them. So feel free to just ask your questions like always, and we'll answer them because honestly, this is our celebration and thank you stream. So whatever you want us to talk about, just let us know. Okay, so we're just gonna start. In the chat, like Circus will join us in 2 hours. So he's in chat right now, but he'll join us on stream and talk on mic with us and have a conversation with us about going forward in 2 hours. Thanks, Circus.
Hello, Circus.
Okay, so
Oh my god.
let's just go in a little casually. So we're just going to start by talking about basically like what happens now. Now that the crowdfund is essentially over tonight, it'll end. Like, let's see what happens now. First off, let's just talk about. I mean, I think we should just all give you a thank you directly. So thank you all so much.
Absolutely, thank you so much.
Oh my god.
Like, this has been, the support has been crazy. It's just been overwhelming, especially over the past couple weeks. It was crazy to meet the funding goal so soon, but then meeting the funding on Indiegogo was also just not a surprise, but very exciting.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much, and we're glad that we were able to get everyone excited enough to do all of that donating. So thank you, and we hope that we can make Solaris as good as possible for you. And that brings us to what we're doing as a team, essentially starting tomorrow. We're going to be working on data collection, which that means that we're going to be getting our voicer to record everything for Solaris. Now that we have the funds, we can move ahead with that, and we can figure out exactly how much data we can put into her, and get the right kinds of songs to make sure that she's like very clear and very powerful. So hopefully that well, we'll be updating it on the crowdfund page the whole time. So we'll keep posting updates on Indiegogo. We'll keep updating you on social media with small updates. So we'll be really we're not just going to be silent starting tomorrow. Could you guys imagine if we were just silent starting tomorrow? It's like, okay, we're all gonna hide away in a cave until Solaris is done. But we probably won't be able to show samples of Solaris for quite some time, just because it takes a while to get all of the AI data together and cleaned up and ready for actual like AI training of the voice bank. So it'll take some time, but we'll keep you updated. We'll basically let you know where we're at over the course of that. And then we have the other side of what we're doing right now, which is the merchandise fulfillment. So starting, I think it'll be next week, we're going to be emailing our manufacturer for all of the small merchandise and finalizing the design of the box, which we'll also post. And we do have a little bit of a box update to show you at the end of the stream. But we'll be finalizing all of the printed goods, the little booklet that'll come in her DVD. We should have a few more announcements regarding that as we go on. I'm realizing that we don't have a ton in our first hour, so I think we should open the floor up to questions right now.
We already have a couple. If you'd like me to start listing those for you, Taylor.
Yeah, let's just start off with the questions.
Cool. So our first question is from Rolling Art 23, and they ask, "How do you guys feel about Solaris being fully funded?"
Oh my gosh, this is the craziest thing that's ever happened to any of us, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this
That's the
is
best way to say it.
entirely surreal.
Yeah, it's like we've put in I mean, I think we've said this a million times, but we've basically been working on Solaris for 3 years now, at this point. It's been 3 years of Solaris.
At this point, I think so.
Yeah, or we're just about to hit 3 years starting next month. Because I think it was July
Yeah.
that
I
we
wanna say
started.
so, yeah.
So we've been working on Solaris very quietly for a long time. And to see all of this happening is it's incredibly surreal.
It's a lot.
It's also kind of overwhelming given that 3 out of 4 of us are moving right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys
Like-
are moving.
Yeah, Eli and Neve just moved, so they're in their new
Literally
apartment
yesterday.
right now. Yeah.
We are in different
And-
rooms, but we are in the same apartment.
Yeah. And tomorrow morning, like, I'm heading out to move across the country at 5 a.m. So so it's a little crazy given all of the time that we put into this, and then it's all ending right at this exact time when everything's overwhelming. But, like, overwhelming in a good way. Like, everything's very exciting. And that's really cool. So I think based on what we were just talking about, Dorothy3242 asked, how did we keep it a secret for so long?
It was hard.
It was very hard.
Oh, it was hard. We had so much happening.
It was so hard not to tell anyone. And like a private server, I would go into a channel that no one else has access to and just scream about it.
Yeah, just for yourself. Yeah,
Yeah.
in that server that you, where it's literally just you. It's so, it's just so wild. Like, we've seen like Synth V updates like being announced, and we're watching it, and we're just like, okay. We did a lot of market research. Like, over the last 3 years, we just basically anyone who's ever talked about wanting a new English vocal, like, we paid attention to you.
Yeah.
Like, so we've been watching everything everyone's been saying, and we're like, okay, like, Solaris did not just come out of nowhere. She was built on essentially 2.5 years of watching the core base of vocal synthesis users talk about what they feel is necessary, talk about what they feel is like the thing that that they would really like to use in a song. Like, we've been watching, and we've tried to tailor Solaris to that at every turn. Like, what kind of design people are wanting, and believe me, when we see people say, like, wow, Solaris is everything that, like, I wanted, and we have seen a few people say that, which is very touching, so thank you. But we're sitting there and we're just like, thank goodness that we did all of that research to try and make her as good as we could. Obviously, she's not going to be perfect for everybody, but we tried to make her perfect for as many people as possible.
We've gotten a lot
Neve.
of questions.
Oh, sorry?
We've gotten a lot of questions in the meantime, so we're writing all of these down. Just give us a while to get to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Neve, do you have another one that you grabbed from earlier?
Ooh, Disgust of Riley and Oniric both asked how much until we hit the stretch goal.
I think we're at. Oh, math is not my mental.
I want to
Quick
say it
mental
was
math is not my
around
forte.
6,000 to 7,000 until we hit it.
Yeah, so we're, I think, just over 6,000 till we hit the stretch goal now. And the stretch goal is somewhat modular, so whatever extra, like, we can put extra money into extra data, it just won't be as much. So,
Yeah.
you know, the extra that we have now is still going towards that stretch goal, it's just we won't be, like, if we hit that stretch goal, we'll have enough to, like, make her as good as possible, essentially. Okay, do you have another?
I have quite a few.
Okay.
Let's see. YNAP asks, will any merch be on sale after the crowdfund?
So none of the guest artist merch will be on sale after the crowdfund. So the charm by Saki, the charm by Mist, and the button by Ed Link Lover are all exclusive to this crowdfund. The tote bag and t-shirt are also exclusive to this crowdfund. So yes, it will just be, we do intend to later, once we have, things all set up in a company way, probably early next year after Solaris releases, we're going to look at selling the acrylic stands again, and maybe the key art button, but probably, as of what's on right now, we will probably sell the acrylic stand again. And that is probably it as far as the merch that's in the crowdfund. So if you want any of it, pledge tonight. If you're not, that's great. Like, I'm glad that you got everything you wanted from this crowdfund. Disgusted Riley asks, and I'm just saying this because it's a quick one, asked if super fans have been sold out yet. Super fans, I think there's still a few left. I'm scrolling down to it now.
Yep.
Yeah, there's 6 super fans left, so if anyone's... I think it's because, like, there were so many claimed, and then when Ultrafan opened, most of the super fans refunded and went up to Ultrafan, so there's a good bit of super fans still open, if you're still looking at that. Okay.
Let's see. YNAP also asked, how do people submit demos?
If you're looking to want to help with Solaris demos and any songwriting projects we have afterwards, after the demo songs, you just go to eclipsesounds.com/contact, or go to eclipsesounds.com and click contact and fill out the contact form. There might be a glitch with the contact form. We've received some reports that on some platforms there's a glitch with the contact form. You can only input numbers on the subject line. That's okay. We still look at all of them. They're not flagged as spam. So thanks. Sorry if it does that to you. We've been trying to figure out why it's been doing that, but we've been focused on the crowdfund right now. So hopefully that'll be okay. But yeah, we might not necessarily have the money to do more demo songs than we've already committed to at this time, but we are saving portfolios for the future because we do intend to keep, paying people to make songs with Solaris, just because, part of our company, and I think everyone can vouch for me when I say this, part of our company is to serve the vocal synthesis community as best we can. And also just songwriting communities, like indie songwriting communities, in the English-speaking world in general, but especially the vocal synthesis community, since that is who we owe a lot of this to. We do intend to do projects in the future that will require more songs for Solaris. So we will keep if you don't get an email back about writing a demo song, consider that we have put your information into a database and we're looking at it, and it's just like, okay, maybe next year for her anniversary, or maybe the year after that, things like that. So even if you're not called on for a demo song, that doesn't mean that we don't absolutely love you. It's just we do have very limited funding. Even with funding over a little bit, we do want to prioritize putting those funds into development, because we can commission more songs anytime. We sort of get one chance at making her as good as she can be, if that makes sense. Is there anything you guys wanted to add?
I think
Not
that's
bad,
pretty
that sums
fair.
it up.
Yeah, it sums it up pretty good.
Yeah.
There's a couple questions that I think could kind of be merged into one. With that being, All My Boring Reviews asks, what inspired you guys to make Solaris? And I see that a lot of other people are asking that as well. And then a couple people have also asked, what was her inspiration, and how did we get into vocal synth, and kind of how we got to where we are right now.
Okay, I think we'll just tell a long story to hit all of those, right? So I guess let's start with how we all got into vocal synth. Iduna, how'd you get in here?
Oh, well, I did answer this a bit on a video on my channel. When I was very young, I was looking at Powerpuff Girls on Google Images, and I saw someone drew a Servant of Evil Powerpuff Girls crossover. And I ignored that for like 2 years until one day I go, hey, what the heck is Servant of Evil? And then I looked it up, and then I was hooked, and I've been obsessed for almost a decade now. So that's how I got in.
For anyone who doesn't know, Servant of Evil is sort of a high-profile vocal synth song in Japanese that I guess was popular in like the mid-2000s. It's crazy. We've all been here about
10 years ago.
Yeah, 10 years ago. So I don't, and it feels crazy to me to say, like, if you don't know Servant of Evil, because, like, I think when all of us joined, it was, like, one of the biggest songs, but now
Absolutely.
I do know people who don't know. Like, Mothi is the producer who wrote those songs. Like, there are people who don't know those songs now. So if you don't know, that's what that is, and it uses the Vocaloid software. And yeah, I think that was that was a lot of people's introduction. Neve, how did you end up here?
Kind of tangential. I didn't actually get into it with Vocaloid necessarily. I actually got into it with Utao. Because one day, when like about 11 years ago at this point, maybe even 12, I logged onto DeviantArt one day and I saw on the front page there was this artwork that was made that had a bunch of Utaos that were very popular at the time, and it was very appealing art style. So I clicked on it and I was like, what the heck is an Utao? And I was like, oh my god, like you can make one of these? And then I was like looking into how to make it, and then I saw that Vocaloid existed, and I was like, Hatsune Miku? And so I kind of saw that and was like, I started kind of delving into looking at Utao covers and like the really old Vocaloid music, and made my own Utao back then, and now I'm here.
Eli, how did
yeah.
you get into this?
So my first Vocaloid related thing was the Interstellar Flight cover with V1 Mako, except it was a Super Smash Bros. Animated music video.
So specific.
Yeah, that's really specific. It was Super Smash Bros. Brawl. I don't even remember who the person was who made it now, but it was this like long, it was the whole video they did themselves. I think it was a pretty popular video, so people might know what I'm talking about. And it was the Interstellar Flight cover with Mako. And they also did like a Link and Pikachu with Melt. And those were my first two Vocaloid related things.
We all have such interesting stories.
And from there, I just like, that was it. That I was like, and my friends were also getting into Vocaloid at the same time. My neighbor across the street. And so we would like dance to Triple Baka. And we'd be like,
I can't laugh because I also did that.
And we're running around the house dancing to Triple Baka. And then I've been here ever since.
Y'all, okay, as an update, Shiel also says that they have seen the
it was a popular video. And I was like, wow, what's this song called? It's really fun.
I got into it, oh god, maybe 14 years ago.
Oh no.
13 or anywhere from 14 to 12. I'm sorry, my year math is worse than my normal math. And I'm a computer scientist, so this is awkward. But I got into vocal synthesis starting on the English side. Ironically, and a little embarrassingly, Circus, close your ears. But I heard some of Circus's songs. Those were my first vocal synth songs ever. And I think they were the ones with probably Sonica. It would really depend on when it was. I guess, yeah. So it was way back then. So I started on the English side. And so English vocal synthesis has really been like my big obsession for the last forever. I probably caught, my memory is so fuzzy right now, but whichever Circus Sonica song was posted first, that I think I saw it probably the week it was uploaded. So yeah, way back in those days. And ever since, I've just been like, wow, this is the coolest thing. And I've loved it from a character side and a technical side. And that's how, like, my college entrance essay was about, like, the technical side of vocal synthesis. And, so, like, that was part of my interview for, like, the first internship I got. And so it's kind of been very influential to my life. So I guess in a lot of ways, like, if you think about everything that we talked about now, it was those moments that brought Solaris to you today.
Yeah.
Every one of those little videos or pieces of artwork is how Solaris happened today. So, in a way, 10 years in the making. Yeah, so let's move on to another question.
I think that's a really fun story time, though. That was,
Yeah.
it's fun to kind of recount how long we've all been here and being like, oh my god, it's been 10 years. Oh my
It's
god.
been- Yeah, more or less 10 years
Weird.
for all of us. It's, yeah, we're not, we're veterans. We're vocal
Yeah.
synth veterans, you could say.
Which is really weird to say.
Yes, it is
So-
very weird.
I saw
shall
someone
keep-
ask in the chat, I'm trying to find out who asked.
What was the
Um,
question?
Line P asked, how did we all meet? I figured that goes along with exactly what we
Yeah,
were just talking
yeah.
about.
I figured that was the one.
I met Neve before anyone else.
a while ago.
So a long time ago, we met sort of in the Utah circuit in like 2013,
Oh, I think it was like
2012.
12, actually.
Yeah,
I still remember
So-
we used to have like we used to comment on each other's like Utah stuff.
yeah,
Back
we used
in
back on
the old
DeviantArt.
days.
And we used to, like, we had a Skype DM and we would talk all the time. And it was weird, and then we didn't talk for like 5 years.
Yeah, and then I
ran into
remember
each other
like
again.
meeting you again, and I was like, why does this name sound familiar? And then I was like looking through my DeviantArt DMs, and I was like, oh my god, I literally talked to you like in 2012. Like it's been that long, and I just totally like it just disappeared from my brain.
Yeah, and then pretty shortly after that, in I think 2014,
Yeah, it
was when I
around
started writing. Yeah, I'm starting this from my perspective because I met everyone at different times, and then we all sort of re-met again.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm probably the most comprehensive if I tell the story. But in 2014, I started poorly writing original songs with one of my friends, and Eli wrote in a different production pair group. And since we were both like collaborative pairs, we were like, oh, we should like collab. Like we both write songs, and mine were terrible. Eli's have always been great.
No, yours
but-
are good.
But back in the days, and we met sort of in that era. Another Skype DM.
Yeah, I remember Skype.
Yeah, and that was how we all met. And then way later, like in the Twitter era, we all met again in like a small, like a server for small songwriters. And that was after we had all moved to Twitter. So that was 4 years ago, probably.
3 or 4, I think.
Well, I don't think it's 3 because we did not start work on Solaris so soon
Yeah,
after.
that's
So
right.
probably 4.
4, okay.
4
Yeah.
years ago, we all ended up in the same Discord server, and that's how the 3 of us met Iruna, and then, and then Eli added us all to a group chat and was just like, "Hey guys, so what if I know this singer from working at a recording studio. And and we actually have, she's like a great recording artist, and like, what if we tried to make a vocal synth, like a commercial one? Like, I think she would be great. I think she's what the English community needs. And this is 3 years ago now. Probably before 3 years ago. 3 years ago is like the first time we, I think, really settled down about it, but like it was in the talks probably 3.5 years ago. And then we were all silent for a little while. And then it was like, wait a second. Because this was around the time, I think, I think I'm trailing off a little bit. This is around the time, this is right before the first version of Synth B came out, isn't it?
It would be, I think.
We're right around that time. So it's sort of like around the same time. And then we're looking at this and we're just like, this is big. This is the next thing. This is the next vocal synth. Like, this is the one. And I think that Solaris kind of continued from there.
I have really, really bad memory, and I do not remember how I met any of you, but I think I've known Eli for a long time.
Yeah, I have a funny story about that, is that, we were both in the same server, and, like, we were gonna make this, like, I guess there's kind of like a virtual idol band. And then the server kind of fell apart, and then I met Iruna again. And I was like, wait a second, were you in that server?
You're the person.
Crazy.
That's it.
Yeah, sorry, that's a long story, but sorry if we missed any questions while we were talking about that.
Yeah, we have a constant stream, so
we are
Yeah,
copying as many questions as we can. If your question doesn't get answered, just feel free to ask it again. So
yeah, chat's going pretty quick, so if you just keep asking it, and we will try to get to it. But this is pretty quick.
Yeah, we will keep answering your question. So.
You want me to read off another one?
Yeah, Neve, what do you got as the next one?
I have a lot, so let's see. Izzy Vitelli, happy birthday, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, happy birthday!
What's the roadmap ahead now that she's funded?
Alright, I guess we talked about this a little bit earlier, but the roadmap ahead is, you can also see on Indiegogo a little bit of the timeline. First, we have to wait on Indiegogo to give us the money, because it takes 2 weeks to make sure to sort of check out everything and make sure, like, okay, this is legit, here's your money. So we have to wait 2 weeks, at least, for that. We're going to be sort of delivering the second payments to all of our artists, who very graciously agreed on 2-part payments, 1 part before the crowdfund, 1 part after, since we were paying them ourselves beforehand. So as soon as we get that, artist payments go out, first round of producer payments go out. We pay the license fee to Dreamtonics, and then we see whatever we have left, and we see how much data we can get from. Also, we have to order the merchandise.
Yeah.
I have this all written down in a paper, so obviously we're not going to forget any of it, but I don't have that in front of me right now. So that all is happening over the next, I guess after 2 weeks from now, since we need to wait. Tomorrow we'll upload final funding statistics on everything and start, I guess, tallying up all of the all of the materials we need, figuring out the final costs of everything. But we budgeted everything beforehand, so it's just sort of updating the spreadsheets, which is all very boring, so sorry for going on about it. Again, because right now I guess we're talking very generally, but we'll also post an update that gives like a more in-depth roadmap later this week. But if you have any questions based on what I just said, I'll let you know. Yeah, let's do all those.
Okay, so Paper Darkfish asks, will Solaris' top pitch be a belting pitch or falsetto?
Okay.
AI voice banks do not have pitches.
Yeah, so it's not really a pitch, but like I get what they're asking. Really,
Yeah.
is like,
Yeah.
will it naturally lean towards falsetto like Saki AI does, or will Solaris naturally lean towards sort of a belting? I guess it really depends on it. Right now, I guess we don't know because we have to see how development goes and the amount of data we can get, because it leans towards falsetto with less data is what I think. Actually, that's probably not accurate. We think based on, okay, this is actually what I meant by that. We think based on how our voicer sings, with less data, it will lean more towards falsetto. But with more data, we can add more data up high to encourage it to go for more of a stronger tone, based on how Emma sings. So right now, it really depends on the amount of funding that we end up with after everything else is paid for, because then that'll let us pay for more data that we can use towards making the highest pitches and lowest pitches perfect, essentially.
Nourishad asks, will Solaris have phonetics for American English pronunciation? She is an American English vocal.
So that will be
our voice actor Emma Rowley is American. It's an American vocal.
So she will. That will be the basic pronunciation that she will.
Yes.
Default to.
And Poku asks, will Solaris get a light version? She will. We still
don't know right now. We're still seeing about that.
But projecting right now, we aren't planning for one.
Yeah, we aren't planning for one, but it is something we could do. It's sort of we'll let you know if we plan on doing that. So it'll just be further into development that we'll be letting you know. So we'll let you know later.
Any more like software based on?
This is just a tiny question that I think will be fast. So Cavezo asks if that Cavezo says that they sent in their portfolio a while ago and haven't gotten a response. We are just storing them for now, which I think we tried to make clear during the last live stream and in the thread that like right now we're not responding back, we're just saving all of it, but we've seen every single portfolio that's been sent. Nothing goes to our spam, so like we have our email set so that nothing goes to spam, so we will see we'll see everything, and all of it is being stored in the big spreadsheet that we have of all of the wonderful people who are interested in working on Solaris, and we are prioritizing extra funds towards development right now, but after Solaris releases, we'll have more funds to, directly commission interested parties.
Pigeon asks, how do light AI vocals even work? Is it just light data and less data? For AI vocals specifically, light voice banks are restricted to high-speed rendering mode. So it has the full amount of data, but it's like...
No, it doesn't. It doesn't have the full amount of data either. It doesn't have full amount of data.
No.
It's a subset of the data is used for a light voice bank.
Okay.
And it's restricted to high-speed mode, rendering.
So it doesn't get as high quality.
Yeah.
But it can also give you a good idea of what can be... Sorry, of what can be done with the full voice.
Yes.
I was reading the other questions in the chat.
Uinya P, sorry for mispronouncing your name, asked, what's her estimated vocal range? We don't know. We have absolutely no clue at this point in time.
All we can really say right now is that she'll definitely be a mezzo-soprano vocal. since that is
Yeah.
our vocalist. Her vocal range, will pretty much be a solid mezzo-soprano. And we can't tell you exact range because we don't know because she's not developed yet because that's what we needed the money for. So, Gummy Shoes asks, will Solaris be available for the non-AI version of Synth V? I don't know what you mean by the non-AI version. I assume you mean Gen 1 Synth V. Solaris will not work on Generation 1 Synth V. If you mean the version, if you mean Synthesizer V Studio but not Synthesizer V Studio Pro, you don't need to buy the Pro editor to use her. So if you are using Gen 1, you can download the new version of Synthesizer V. Can someone send the link in the chat for that? The new version of Synthesizer V. From dreamtonics.com/Synthesizer V, I think. And then you can download the new version, and she will work on that. And you don't need to buy an editor for that.
No, like standard Synth V. I still don't know what you mean. If it's Synthesizer V Studio, AI voice banks will work in it. If you're using Synthesizer V Generation 1, from before Studio was made, she will not work on it.
Yeah,
She will
so
not be a standard voice bank. She will just be an AI voice bank.
yeah, she
Yes,
will only
isn't
be
getting
AI.
a standard VB, but she will work in the Studio editor. You don't have to do anything to upgrade it.
Yeah, you just have to download the Studio editor. And you can download, there's a free version of the Studio editor. It's just as good. Like, the Pro version has more features, and if you're going to be like a heavy user, you should probably buy Pro eventually. But you can buy, you can buy it later, basically. Like, if you want Solaris, you can buy Solaris first, and then if you use SynthV a ton, you can upgrade to the Pro editor later, and she'll work in both.
I know
Goodbye,
a couple people
Daniel.
have asked if we're planning on pushing updates after her release to fix any bugs or just updates in general.
Absolutely.
Yes. We want to be on top of any bug or any issue and make sure that it gets fixed. It would require like funding, but that's our plan, is to use the funds from her sales to fix any errors that happen. Because, I mean, in AI, it can't be perfect, so there's always going to be small errors, and we'll open a specific bug reports section of our page, and we'll get them fixed as funding allows. But yeah, we intend to do updates later as well, to make sure she stays as good as possible.
Skirmish just asked, and I've seen this discussion in the chat, if you own Solaris but only have SynthV Basic, can you still commercially use Solaris? I had a look at, a while back, I did have a look at the licensing of Basic. You can use her commercially, but if you want to be absolutely sure, I would recommend going into the licensing file and checking.
And
Yes,
really
because they do
quickly,
provide it.
I saw that Baggage Lizard just said the test bank was standard. That was just a proof of concept bank to kind of show, like, that we were going to make a voice bank and, like, just kind of show the tone a little bit, but it's going to be totally different than the full AI bank. If you want a better idea, you can go and listen to our voice provider's covers on her YouTube channel or on her website.
Yeah, like, I think Voller said this recently as well, but Dreamtonics doesn't do demo versions of AI voice banks until, like, basically they're done. So, our only option for the crowdfund was basically to test it out with a standard voice bank to see how the editor handles Emma's vocals. But, yeah, she'll be in AI fully. Her lower tone should sound closer to what's used in the demo, since I think we can say the pitch that she's recorded at for that demo, that's A-sharp 3, or was it just A3?
I think it was A sharp.
Which is,
It was, yeah, it was pretty low. It was basically the middle tone of the demo song, so it's not, it's probably representative of the tone her lower pitch, like lower, of the tone she will have when she sings at lower pitches, but it's not representative of the tone she'll have overall. She'll sound a lot closer to the voicer. We've said that a few times, but yeah. Just to be clear.
Yeah, a really quick one. M. Nurashad asks, what is her age? Solaris is an adult. You can interpret that how you will, but she is firmly an adult.
Yeah, so it depends on your interpretation from there, but like if adult means that she's a 40 million year old goddess, okay. If adult means that she like loves to dress up as a goddess but she's 28, okay. Like whatever you want to do from there. Um and you can also like portray her like as a teen if you want. But just for official purposes, Solaris is an adult.
Yeah.
But you can do whatever you want with her, so
Gosh, there's so
Yeah.
many questions.
Dorothy3242 asks, do the higher tiers get featured in the thank you video? Only the lower tiers mention it in the crowdfund page.
Yes.
Yes.
We just ran out of you can only list a certain amount of items under each tier on Indiegogo, so we ran out of room. So it's implied for higher tiers, but yes.
Yeah. I do believe at one point we said that every higher tier will get the digital supporter rewards.
Yep.
So
Mhm.
yes, don't worry about it.
Oh yeah, and the thank you is under the digital supporter rewards.
Yeah,
so
yeah. So
you'll get it. Everyone
person
gets
who got
thanked.
it here. Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll
all.
also, yeah, thank you all so much. We'll send out emails to everybody as soon as the campaign closes. Everyone's going to get an email confirming the name on their Indiegogo account for the thank you video. You can also ask when that email comes out if you don't want to be included in the video. You can say, hey, please don't put me on the thank you video. Otherwise, just respond with your preferred name and we'll update it in our records. And then, like your preferred display name for the video, we'll update it for the records and put that all in the video, which the video, I suppose, needs to wait until she's complete. So it'll be a while for the video, so you'll have time. You'll have time to respond to that email. And if there's no response, we'll just assume the name on your Indiegogo is fine. And if you emailed us previously, we've already taken care of it, but if you want to be sure, you might as well respond again. But I've already taken all of them down.
Velociraptor asks, will there be more Solaris live streams after this one, even though the crowdfund is ending?
Yeah, we should have. They won't be as frequent as they were during crowdfund, but we should have live streams later. We have to figure out, since we're all at big change points in our lives right now with all of us moving, we need to figure out sort of what our new schedules will look like. But yeah, we should at least have a monthly live stream to just check in. They'll probably be a lot shorter, but yeah, that should be the plan. Oh, someone just asked, Mellow Bunny P asks if we will turn on auto captions when we save the stream, and yes, we will. Sorry if we didn't do that previously. We found the option to how to do that today, so we'll turn on auto captions for all of the streams after this one is done processing. So they'll be up.
And then I'm not sure if this was answered by people in the chat, but Velociraptor had also asked, with an AI bank, is it possible to alter the individual phonemes of words?
Yes.
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 And an AI bank, because it's sort of generating its own pronunciation based on the training data. This isn't insider info. This is just how AI works. Since it's generating sort of its own idea of how to replicate the human voice in real time, you can actually sort of get more pronunciations out of it, basically, by just messing with the phonemes a lot. So you have more... you'll have a little bit more wiggle room than you would with a standard voice, which only has the data that's recorded for it. Like AI voice banks kind of make up their own data a little bit. All right, I think we will continue to answer questions, and you can continue to ask them. But we do have hourly announcements.
We're
Eli,
at that hour.
Yeah, we're out the hour. Do you have the crowdfunding page pulled up? Is that what's showing on the stream?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Could you refresh it?
I can.
Let's see where we're at.
41.
41, 386. So we're at 103% now. So 121% overall. So thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh. Solaris real.
Solaris real.
Servial asked really quickly, will Solaris have auto-tuning? I believe that's part of AI, right, Udina?
Yeah.
Yeah, so she'll have
all
auto-tuning.
AI, but boring specs have it, yeah.
And she'll have it no matter what. So it'll
Yeah.
be available for you. Okay. So hourly announcement. Oh, this is actually kind of a bigger announcement that we'll also be mirroring all these announcements on social media later. So we've signed on over the course of the crowdfunding period. We signed on 2 more producers to do demo songs. So please, like,
Put your hands together.
yeah, put your hands together in the chat.
Please.
Send those little clapping emojis. We have Meltberry, who's known for just like a very wonderful and amazing dreamy pop style of music and their own vocal versions of songs. We'll be creating a demo song for Solaris, and Flanger Moose will also be creating a demo song for Solaris, and I think Flanger Moose is in the chat tonight. So thank you so much for wanting to be a part of this project. Sorry we waited so long to make that announcement, but you can also feel free to say it publicly now. So thank you so much for being part of this, and and if anyone missed what's written on the crowdfund page, we've mentioned it before, but Circus will also be doing a demo, and Ghost will also be doing a demo for Solaris. We may have some more funds to do, maybe 1 more demo. It really depends. We don't know right now because we don't know how much all of the merchandise will be. So we're sort of conservatively saying we will probably have 4 demo songs. Circus will join us in an hour, so we can talk more about that. But I suppose that's our hourly announcement. We're trying to have something interesting on every announcement, but you know. So I guess let's just get back to the questions, because that's been going really well so far.
That's been we got lots of questions. They're
we will
still coming in hot.
We will answer all of them that we are legally allowed.
Yes. Under the law. So Alex Teal had asked earlier, you've been working on Solaris for 3 years, since Gen 1?
Yeah. Solaris,
Yeah, I remember I approached Dream Tonics right towards the end of the
end of the trial period for Gen 1. Yeah, so before it went on like full sale. We just missed the deadline for Gen 1.
We just missed the deadline for Gen 1 by like a few months.
It's incredible. If we had started earlier, Solaris might have been a Gen 1 vocal. But I think that she's much better served by the AI processing, so I think we're glad that she's Gen 2. Also because Gen 2 is, can I say, perfect? I love Synthesizer V.
I love Synthesizer
Every time
V.
I open it, and it ties into another question someone asked us. I'm trying to find it right now.
By Rolling Art 23, but made us choose Synth V, perhaps?
And also someone asked what our favorite synthesizer is. I think we would all say Synth V. It's incredible. We chose Synth V mostly because I think we said this earlier when we were telling that whole story. But when we saw Synth V, we were like, this is the feature. Like, it has active development. It has so much. You can just do so much in it. It has so many. It has so many features and so many like small parameters, and just you can really get into it. But also now with Gen 3 AI, like you can also just kind of sit back and let it do it for you. So it's really the perfect all-around vocal synth, and I think that's where we're all at as far as that's concerned. We love
I'm kind of
Synthesizer V.
notorious to like viewers for using a lot of very obscure synths that most people haven't even heard of. I've used dozens and dozens of programs, but Synthesizer V is overwhelmingly my favorite.
It's so exciting to sort of watch the growth of Synthesizer V, and also now to be able to be a part of it, because like it is definitely incredible, and I think that it's going to be. I think we're already seeing a little bit of a vocal synthesis renaissance coming about with Synthesizer V, and I think we'll only see that continue, especially because it's probably the easiest one to use that I've ever used. It takes like the least time, in my opinion, it takes the least time to get used to, as opposed to every other vocal synthesizer. So it's incredible. And I guess let's keep on the Synth V train. Carrying Starlight in her wake, which excellent username by the way, asks what our favorite non-Solaris Synthesizer V voice bank is.
Rika.
Oh, Rika's so cute.
Rika.
Non-Solaris Synthesizer V.
Rika.
I love the Volar vocals. I love all of them, but my favorites are Aika, like the Chinese vocal by Volar, Mandarin Chinese vocal from Volar. She's so cute, and I love Eleanor Forte. I think all four of us love Eleanor Forte because there's no way we would have made Solaris if we didn't love Eleanor Forte.
Yes, I think
she was the blueprint.
She was the blueprint
She
for
was
real.
the blueprint.
I think that my favorite non-Solaris Synthesizer V voice bank, I'm kind of tied between Sangchong and also Minus, but that's just because I literally am in love with their designs too. Like, I draw Minus like every week.
They're just so amazing. And I think we all love Maki.
Yes,
Maki. Oh my god.
It's been so cool to see Maki doing so well. It's so cool to see that they also did English AI.
Yeah.
And I think that I'm very excited to see Solaris and Maki used together, because I feel like they both bring so much to the table. And there's, I think with all of the English AI vocals right now, so Solaris, Maki, Eleanor AI, who's coming out later this year, and the male vocal that Dreamtonics showed off during the Gen 3 AI showcase. I think that they all are different, and I think that's really cool. And they're all AI. Maki also has standard, and Eleanor also has standard light. But it's so cool that they're all going to be so different, and like you can use them together or you can use them separately, and they with all four of them together, they just open so many doors for English Synthesizer V usage in so many different genres and so many different, I guess, ranges and tones, and it's just so cool. It's just so exciting.
I just get so excited thinking about it.
I like to think that they're all friends.
Yes, they're all in a band together. It's my headcanon.
Yes.
All right.
What do we got as far as the next question? Yeah.
Next one. Carrying Starlight in her wake asks, hello, apologies if this was already mentioned, but how much will Solaris cost at launch? Will it be the same as the tiers or more?
Solaris will cost less than the crowdfund tiers. She'll probably be approximately $100 at launch. The crowdfund tiers were more because we needed the extra to fund her, and you'll get a little bit extra. You get the digital supporter rewards. You get a little bit extra by being able to see the concept art PDF. The thank you being sort of part of this whole process. Yeah. That's sort of the typical for crowdfunding campaigns, is that because you're not just paying for the item, you're paying for the item to be made. So she'll cost a little bit less than she did during the crowdfund. And we very much are so thankful.
Yes. So, in simply put, it'll be less. We don't know exactly how much. Probably somewhere around $100.
All right, let's see. Try to scroll back up. A couple of people have asked, will we make more voice banks post Solaris?
Right now, we don't know because it really does depend on how well Solaris does on release. But seeing that there's been such wide support for Solaris so far,
Maybe?
it just depend. Yeah, maybe. I think we can say we would like to. We love Synthesizer V, and we would love to. I'm probably accidentally parroting exactly what it says in the frequently asked questions on the crowdfund page. But we would love to. We think that there's a lot more room for even more different vocals right now in Synthesizer V. Yeah, I think we can say, yeah, probably, if we made a new one, probably not another feminine vocal. So, but that would depend. It depends where we are when we're able.
Yeah.
I think we would want to steer away from having to crowdfund.
Yeah.
Again, because hopefully we can just lean on Solaris sales for a feature voice.
We sure.
Or if we did crowdfund, it wouldn't be for as much because we'd come up with more of it beforehand. But yeah, we would love to. But we're going to start with just focusing on Solaris, and we won't answer more questions about another vocal. Sorry to sing that.
Moving on.
Someone asks, could you do a late PayPal donation like this week? Man. I think...
Are we gonna leave that out?
I think because we have to wait for the Indiegogo payment, we can leave PayPal donations open till the end of the week.
Alright.
Because we won't be able to make final tallies until we have all of the money anyway, and we can't start making orders for the merchandise anyway. So I think we'll leave PayPal donations open to the end of the week, and I'll make a note of that to make a broader announcement about it. Okay, you heard me typing, so you know that happened.
Right.
We'll make an announcement about that later.
Sina had asked, will you be showing fan arts that are not for the contest like in the previous stream, like another fan art showcase?
We will not during this stream.
No.
We've seen all of them, and we love all of them. We have so much to cover during this stream. We have so many questions to ask. And we didn't... Honestly, we've been working so hard with the end of the crowdfund, we didn't have time to put them all together. So... Thank you so much. We won't be looking at them again. We'll be looking at our 4 favorites from the whole crowdfunding period. And we'll be looking at the 4 finalists for the contest, which will be announced at the end of the stream. The result of which will be announced at the end of the stream, excuse me. But no, we won't be looking at all of the fan art. Maybe because it's just... There's too much to have it all together.
It really kind of went up exponentially.
We really appreciate it. We love
really
all the
appreciate
fan
it.
We look at every single one.
There's too much.
And anyone who wants to look at all of the fan art that we could retweet or reblog, I think has been retweeted or reblogged. So, because we don't want to screenshot it and repost it.
Yeah.
So if you go to the Eclipsed Sounds Twitter page, you can look at it all, and it's all incredible, and we appreciate you all so much, and we're sorry that we didn't have time to put it all together.
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
Let's see. Isaac Brinson asks, would you guys consider making alternate costumes for Solaris, like how Internet Code does with Una?
I think that would be something we'd be really interested in. We're interested in, hopefully, doing a lot for Solaris. Like, she isn't just we finish her, we upload her for sale, and then we leave her be. We want to keep working with Solaris. That's something we've noticed. We're not like a upset with English companies doing that, but we've noticed like a lot of them don't sort of continue doing work with the vocal afterwards. They just sort of go on sale and then they're there and they're done. And we'd like to just be very involved with Solaris and creating more content for her, sort of in the way that I think we would base our model off of both how Una's company manages her and also how the Quad Dimension vocals are managed, where like more content comes out for them all the time. But that's a great question, so thank you.
All right. Linya P asks, what is our favorite thing about Solaris computer science-wise?
Ooh. Oh, you guys go first because I'm the nerd here with the comp sci degree. So
I know
For
nothing
me,
about computer science, so I just like her. Yes.
I don't know much about like the programming or anything, but the new AI tech is extremely exciting to me. Mostly what I know as far as software goes is like how easy it is to use in the program and like all the little adjustments you can get. I love having that extra control. But as far as like the tech behind the program, I have no clue.
Yeah.
I think it's so cool. Obviously, I think it's so cool because we are, actively developing her. So we're seeing a little bit more under the hood for Synthesizer V. And oh man, it's so cool. I am just so enthusiastic about it the whole time. Synthesizer V is amazing, and the tech that it uses underneath, I can't tell you anything about it, but it's amazing, and it's just so impressive. It's so cool. One of my favorite things is, this is public, it's Kanru Hua, leader of Dreamtonics, creator of Synthesizer V, posted a picture of the deep learning, core
Yeah.
that they have at Dreamtonics, and it's just you can see the server, the deep learning cluster that they have, and I just like looking at that. I'll send the link in the chat.
Wasn't it hydro powered?
Yeah, it's hydro powered. Like, that's incredible. That's so cool. I sent the link in the chat, so if you will just check it out. That's something I guess I nerded out about when I saw that. So it was just so cool seeing glimpses like that, and we get a few more glimpses like that throughout the development process, and we'll probably see more. And I guess my whole time in vocal synthesis, I've always been interested in it from the software side. So I just keep opening. I keep opening boxes. Like, I'm trying to look under the hood of every synthesizer that I'm allowed to. And so this has been crazy, and like having that sort of upfront seat to looking at the development and hearing about like what future plans are is amazing.
All right. Are we set for another?
Yeah, let's do more.
More. VL Bonnie asks, any tips for aspiring commercial developers?
Research.
Yes.
The most important thing that we did was market research and
Yes.
learning like the financial side and the level, sort of backing up like, oh, I think this would be cool. You also need to prove that since it's commercial, you also need to prove that people will want it, like that people will buy it.
Yeah.
And like that also you have to put, and we did this a few times, you have to put what your personal opinion would be about what the best synthesizer would be. You have to sort of put that on the back burner and look at what other people want. And that's sort of the point of making a commercial synth, because then otherwise it's like a project about you. And what we tried to make was a project that fit the needs of users. And that is probably the most important advice that I would say, is that it has to be it has to not be for you. And I think that was...
No, sorry to interrupt.
Sorry, you can go ahead.
Research work very, very hard and make sure you have a very good project proposal.
Mhm.
Yeah, like it's all about what you have before you announce. And also don't announce before you have a deal. That's what I would say is big advice too. Just make sure everything is top notch and you've signed a contract before you announce.
Yes.
Basically, because otherwise you're just another project that didn't go anywhere. It's hard. You have to keeping everything secret is one of the most important things to keep in mind for commercial developers. Keeping it secret until like you're ready and everything's prepared, because the first impression is one of the most important things.
Yeah.
I would say. Yeah, and we hope that more people want to make English vocals specifically for Synthesizer V specifically, because our whole thing is that we want more English vocals for Synthesizer V.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Do you care for another?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Mooney asks, do you all have utaos? What are their names? I already know about Hexia and Iruna's utaos.
Oh my goodness.
I actually
Hexia
retired
popular.
most of them. I retired most of them, but I am working on some new kids. I guess I'll say this. I sort of on the back burner have two official channel mascots called Kuroa and Aoshi. And I'm making Utao voice banks with them. Neve has been helping me with that. So they're in development, and those are my primary Utaos now.
I don't really use utao much anymore, just because I've been like way too busy with finishing my degree and work and moving and like SOLARIS and everything. But the like one utao that I've had that her 10th anniversary is coming up is Mira Tsutsuma. She is my child. I've had her since 2010, 2011, and I love her very dearly. She's come a long way. But I haven't used her in like literally a year. So kind of a bad parent.
Eli?
So I have one Utau who I have never released. One day that will happen. Who knows when that will be.
Love him though.
His name is Mori, and he's got some really interesting lore.
Yes, he does.
I have a bunch of Utao, but my primary ones that I care about are Hexia and Terran, and their siblings, and they're cool.
And I love them.
And Hexia's 10th anniversary is next year, so I'm working on that after everything with Solaris is done. Obviously, that's back burner, because that's so not super important. But
really
and if
quick
anyone
trailer.
doesn't know...
Aren't Hexia's and Mira's anniversaries like a week and a half apart?
Oh yeah, because we met around the same time that we both released them. So that kind of ties into how we all know each other as well. I would say, if you don't know what Utao is, because you might be watching this sort of as an outside listener to vocal synth, or someone who's mostly invested in the commercial side, Utao is a free-to-use vocal synth and to make your own vocals software from 2009. It's fun, it's clunky, but you can make your own, and there's a lot of plugins and everything, and it's fun. I would say Synthesizer V is much better, but it is a commercial synth, so of course it's better. But it's fun, it's great, and I think all of our experience in using Utao and like creating Utao kind of helped us understand sort of the basics of creating like a vocal synthesis character. Obviously, Solaris is not our Utao, and she doesn't really belong to us. Like, she belongs to our company in like a legal sense, but we want her to belong to everybody in sort of a character and vocal sense and like a feeling of ownership. But you sort of get the feel, and I guess this goes back to like the advice for commercial developers, like try and get the feel of like learning how to manage the sort of vocal side and the character side through like a free synthesizer like that.
It's also
and that
really
can
cool
help.
to think about the fact that we were all in the community like with Utao for so long, and like we've all been configuring our own voice banks, like designing and like working in this community for so long, and then we were able to bring the Solaris project to completion and kind
Because
of
of
show
the
off our
skills that
passion for this community.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also because of the skills that we learned through doing that. Obviously, working on Solaris is much harder than creating a new Tau, but like there's transferable skills, and that's really cool. So I think we'll move on from that.
Yes.
I guess that was sort of our meet the team moment again.
Yes. Let's see.
And I think we'll probably have more like casual live streams later.
Yeah.
That probably won't be saved to the channel. But over the time. Oh yeah, someone said in the chat. The creator of Synth V, so Kanrukla, like made a resampler for Utao. So Utao is also how he got started. So Utao is like the birth of Synthesizer V. In a sense, it's sort of like the I would say the grandfather of Synthesizer V. So it's interesting that Solaris also has those sort of like Solaris wasn't an Utao, but she's made by a bunch of people who had their start in Utao as well.
Let's see. A couple people have asked, will Solaris be able to sing in other languages? And then a follow-up question to that, do you have any plans to make vocals in other languages?
So Solaris won't be able to sing in other languages perfectly or without a ton of work, mostly because she's going to be, like, our voice provider is only fluent in English. And so we can't guarantee a level of quality with any other language. So we have to focus on what we can make actually sound good and do well. But we do plan on, and this, I guess, will be talked about later throughout the crowdfunding period, but we do plan on trying to provide as much support for other languages as possible via like plugins and dictionaries, which in Synthesizer V, if you're not super familiar with using Synthesizer V, since I know Solaris has been sort of everybody's, well, a lot of people's, not everybody's, obviously, because Synthesizer V is huge and amazing, but it's been a lot of the English-speaking community's first look into Synthesizer V and like consideration of using Synthesizer V, just like Eleanor was when Synthesizer V originally released. But in Synthesizer V, you can make custom dictionaries where you put in like a word and the phonetic pronunciation based on like how like a certain voice would do it. So like for Solaris, you can put in, I guess, Solaris, and you would say that it's pronounced with like S, and then the OW phoneme, which is O, and then the L phoneme, which is L, and then there's a couple of different ways to do it. I would say EH, which is eh, and then R, which together is usually air, and then IH, I know, I should have picked a shorter word, IH, which is eh, and then S again, which is is, so then that would be Solaris as the pronunciation. You can create your own custom dictionary, which is a list of words and pronunciations. And then there are also plugins, which are only available to be used in the Pro editor. But let's say that, hypothetically, I made a dictionary that converts all like basic Japanese phonetics into English phonetics, and then I could also make a plugin that would adjust the length of certain phonetics to sort of simulate it better. And that's the sort of support that we're going to try and look for creating in the future. Someone asks, do y'all plan on adding... Oh, Vokazone asks. I have to get better about reading people's names. Vokazone asks, do you plan on adding the equivalent of the 4 phoneme in Synthesizer V for Solaris? It's amazing for English, and it really helps. Synthesizer V already has this phoneme. If anyone doesn't know like what the 4 phoneme is, that's the notation used in Vocaloid, I believe. But it's basically, and I can't say this word, so forgive me, but it's the alveolar tap, which is, you hear in words like butter. Like, obviously, you're not really closing down on, like, a T sound in the middle of butter, or a real D sound, you would just sort of tap your tongue to the roof of your mouth. In Synthesizer V, this is the DX phoneme, and it's native to English. It is DX, right, guys?
Yeah, it's DX.
Yes.
Okay, I always almost say the wrong thing. Yeah, so that already exists in Synthesizer V. It's huge. It's great. It's really helpful.
It's my favorite phoneme.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so Solaris will have that as well.
Yes.
And probably a lot of samples with it, considering how our voicer pronounces things.
Yes. I have 2 questions that are a little bit related. Lost and Found asks, if Solaris does really, really well, do you think that there could be an append add-on? And then Thing asks, if Solaris is successful, would you do a talk synth for her similar to Maki?
Okay. If Solaris is super successful, and instead of making new vocals, people want us to do more Solaris, we could consider doing either more updates for like her original, and I think we would prefer to do this as well, is to do more updates for her original software, so that it would be a free update for users. We could add more data to it and make her more realistic, or we could add a new subset of data and like, I guess, I don't know about this actually, because right now we're just focusing on creating the initial voice, but I think we could do a subset of data where it would function like a pitch group in normal standard style, and it would basically be like a sub voice that would be available. I don't know if that's actually possible because it isn't something that we've discussed, but it might be something that we could do if Solaris was extremely successful. We'd have to look into our options there, but that's sort of a good idea of something we could do.
Yeah.
But right now that there would be no huge plan for that. What was the other question, Neve?
And then a talk synth.
I think we don't see in the English-speaking space as much of a demand as there is for talking, like text-to-speech synthesizers that are associated like with characters as they are in the Japanese space. It is something that we could consider if there was a lot of if there was a lot of demand, we could do that, but right now it's not in the plans just because it could be very expensive. It's not included in our contract with our voicer. It would just have to be something that we would see if it was something that everybody really wanted. Also, English is a little bit harder to do with text-to-speech, so it really depends. It would be a lot of data and it'd be really expensive. If we wanted to make it of like a high enough quality to justify being commercial, we could also think about doing it non-commercially. But we would have to see, and it would just be a future project.
Definitely. No Straight Answer asks, how are you guys handling shipping costs for physical tiers? Will those getting physical products need to pay for shipping closer to release time, or will you guys be handling shipping yourselves?
We're handling shipping. It was included in our budgeting, so there's no more costs on your end. I saw a lot of people confused about that. Yeah, we're not charging you for shipping again later. We've got it. We've got it handled.
Got it handled. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Vocasphere asks, have you considered contacting AHS about cross-promoting?
Right now we just need to be focusing on making... We can't focus on cross-promotion until Solaris is, like, done.
Yeah.
But it's something we'd be open to. Yeah, we'd be open to cross-promotion with probably any other English language ones. So Maki, Eleanor, the new Dreamtonics vocal. Although I guess we kind of had a mini cross-promotion when the Dreamtonics Twitter said that if you want a counterpart for that vocal, fund Solaris, which was wild and incredible. And they probably will sound great together. So I guess that was a mini cross-promotion. But,
perfect segue into another question. Vocazone asks, did you guys get any more excited for Solaris after hearing that new male vocal?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
yes. Like, I heard that vocal and I was like, oh, they'll sound perfect together. I think that that would be incredible.
Yeah.
If they can get used together. That was, and also seeing Gen 3, I mean, obviously, since we're a Synth V project, we did get a little bit of a heads up on Gen 3, but just hearing it in that whole promotional video was, it just gets better. Synthesizer V just keeps getting better. And that is
better.
I think I can't overstate enough how wonderful Synthesizer V is and how excited we are to be a part of it now.
Yeah, really quick answer. Gumi Worms asks, Solaris X Voice? We'll have something similar to that. With the certain tiers in our crowdfund have an add-on where you can ask for a custom voice line within reason that our voicer would say, and we'll be including all of those in the final voice bank.
Well, we'll be including those custom voice lines go to the individual who requested them. So if you want a specific voice, like if you want a specific recording, it will only go to you. It won't go to everybody. But
my bad. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm in charge of that. So I'm the development leader. So my apologies if that was communicated incorrectly internally. But she will have extra voice files. Idrina, could you mute while you're typing, please?
I'm sorry, I thought I did.
Could you? That's bound to happen with how long this live stream is going to be. But she will have a set of extra samples that will come with her voice for everybody, excuse me, and everybody will get a certain set of files, which will include like breaths, very simple things like counting, things like hey and let's go, like things like that. Excuse my terrible voice acting. This is why we hired a professional for SOLARIS. Also because that's just the point of our project. But yeah, she will come with some files like that. We'll see how many we can afford with however much money we have after everything else that we have to pay for. We're prioritizing the ones that people specifically requested in the add-on for an extra voice line. So if you want a specific one, and you're buying SOLARIS, it's an add-on only for people who have purchased SOLARIS. It's $20, and if you don't want to refund on Indiegogo and repledge, you can send the $20 to the PayPal link and just note your original contribution number and your original contribution number, what you want for the voice line, and your email that you use for Indiegogo. So hopefully that helps. Do we have another question?
Yes. Astrianton V asks, did you all put your voices in Synthesizer V to test?
No, none of that happened.
No.
Especially because we don't have the... One, we wouldn't do it anyway because like we need to focus on developing SOLARIS and not like funny little things like that. And two, the way that AI voice banks work, what we are doing is like developing like the AI voice banks. There's a testing training algorithm that runs at Dreamtonics for that. Which is just how AI works in general. Yeah, we can.
We can. We didn't, and we can't.
We didn't, and we can't, and we wouldn't if we could.
Yes.
We didn't, we can't, and we would not if we could, because it's all SOLARIS all the time over here at Eclipsed Sounds.
Let's see. Vocozone asks, how are you guys going to handle demos? Such as, will they be only originals, or will they be covers with permission?
Well, you'll hear Miles again. The original test voice bank demo. You'll hear that again with her AI, so you'll have a direct comparison to how she's turning out at the end. So that'll be one cover, and then everything else we're hoping for just original songs. Yeah, we might have like short demos that are covers on the product page, like covers of well-known songs. But you know, we're looking at for like big promotional demos, we're looking for strictly original songs.
And Evocosphere then asks, will you reach out to non-English song producers like those in Spanish-speaking countries or Japan or China to promote Solaris?
We might in the future. Right now, as we said earlier, you might not have been here, so I'll repeat it. Right now, we do not know how much funding we will have for more demo songs, but we do have a concrete plan about this, but it will be revealed later, not during this live stream, but it will be revealed during the lead up to her release. But we do have a concrete plan about reaching specifically to non-English songwriters. So yes, but not for demo songs, because we want to represent her fairly by what she's intended to do, without like, we don't want to accidentally promote her in ways that like are not completely realistic to how you can actually use her easily, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Aria Songriddle asks, I was thinking, do you think that you'll accept money for Solaris after the crowdfunding if there's no merch involved?
I mean, honestly, we don't want to keep taking your money in donations, because like, we are a company rather than like at this point, like, yeah, we're not just we're not trying to get we don't need you to keep giving us your money, is what I'm saying. Like, we have the funds to make Solaris. You don't need to keep giving us your money. We appreciate it, and that's very nice, but you don't need to keep donating to us because we are a small business rather than just a production circle. So thank you so much. That's extremely kind, but save your money and spend it on yourself. We've got, like, we'll keep the PayPal link open specifically only if you want rewards from the crowdfund until the end of this week. And then after that, please do not give us your money unless you're buying Solaris later next year when she is done. So thank you.
Yes, and that kind of goes into another question that I've seen people ask is, when is her estimated release and how strict is that timeline for release?
Her estimated release is January of next year, just to give us enough time to get all of the samples together, get the AI trained, work out any bugs, get more samples if they're needed, things like that. And then the physical editions will ship out in February. People who pledged the physical edition will get her 1 week before release digitally, and then the physical edition will come later in the mail. And then probably in February, as said earlier. That is basically the latest. We're not going to go, unless there's a huge disaster and something horrible happens to one of us, or just like to a shipment or something. If something happens with Dream Tonics, that would be the only situation in which she gets delayed, but we picked a spot far enough in the future that we could ensure delivery by. So expect Q1 of 2022 for her finished product. You should start hearing her finished product before that. And it's flexible only in that there's a chance she could release earlier. That is unlikely. So it'll pretty much be January. We don't have a specific day, but we will have a specific day closer to release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Dorothy3242 asks, Solaris MMD model?
We could in the future with the sales from her actual voice. We don't have the extra funds for it right now because we want those funds to go into making the voice bank as good as it can be upon release. So we have to prioritize making the voice good first, but we can definitely think about doing it later. Like we said, we want to keep making things for Solaris in the future, so that's definitely something we could do if it was desired, if that makes sense.
And there are also several very nice, amazing models that people have just made on their own free time.
which are literally so beautiful.
Exactly.
They're so
amazed at, like, all the
beautiful.
different
They're so
styles that
impressive.
people have done them in.
Yeah. So even if we don't make one, which we would hope that we could in the future, we've seen some amazing 3D artists already working on some. And 3D artists out there, you guys are amazing. That's incredible. Please don't work please don't work yourself too hard on those, but you're amazing, and that's awesome. Izzy
just
Vitelli
a couple more.
asked just a small question. Earlier we said that if you bought one of the tiers with Solaris, you can pledge for the extra voice line through PayPal, which is $20, and then you say what you want the voice line to be, your contribution number, and the email on your Indiegogo account. Also, for people who just pledge for it normally through Indiegogo, when we ask the name that you would prefer on the thank you video, we'll also be asking you what you want on the voice line. So don't worry that you have not told us yet what you want on the voice line. We're giving you a little bit of time to think about that while we get everything together. But Izzy Vitelli, excuse me, asks if you'd be able to do the same thing for the production diary if you've already pledged. Yes, you could just send, guys, is the production diary 15?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, you would send $15 to the PayPal with your contribution number. Actually, the production diary is open for all tiers, so you don't even really need your contribution number. You could just, actually, yes, you would, because it's an add-on. So you would put in your contribution number and your Indiegogo email and say, hey, I'm doing this for the production diary. For anyone who doesn't know what the production diary is, the production diary is a is a PDF booklet. PayPal booklet is a PDF booklet that basically shows the course of Solaris' entire development. There's a lot of funny stories in there, and that should be out, I think, by the end of the summer. We're still finalizing it because there's sort of more that we have to collect from the crowdfunding period that'll be in it. But it also has the whole story of her development from essentially day one, hey, what if we did this with this amazing singer that I know, to day 3 years later, now, talking about this live stream right now. We write notes during the live streams for things that need to go in the production diary from the stream. So every second of Solaris history up until the production diary goes out to everybody, I guess, will be contained in that booklet with a lot of secrets internally. Not secrets that we signed a non-disclosure agreement for, but secrets that are internal to Eclipsed Sounds, like her character development, and things like that. Everyone will be getting the concept art PDF, which just has all of the concept art and like preliminary designs for Solaris, as well as the work in progresses that we got from our amazing artist Superstellar. Those will all be in the concept art book, which is also a PDF and is going out to everybody who contributed at least $15 to the campaign. But the production diary will have explanations of every part of every image and a lot more. So it's sort of concept art PDF plus, if you consider it that. And there's a lot more than just the art that would go into that. Next question.
Yeah, we're winding down. I think we're nearly caught up, actually. So, Meerkat P asks, will we hear any new non-AI prototypes, demos, samples tonight?
Honestly, we're trying not to. It's been hard because, obviously we have that standard prototype, but we would prefer, and we've already seen a level of confusion regarding what Solaris will sound like at the end as a result of showing that prototype. That prototype was sort of a what if, not even a fraction of what she'll sound like at the end, but a lot of people have started to take that as okay, Solaris will sound exactly like this. So we're trying to hold off on showing that voice as much as possible. So no, we won't hear any more of that voice tonight, and in the future, we will probably only hear that voice again for comparison purposes once the AI voice is at least done enough that we can start using it and showing it for demo purposes. So, short answer, no. long answer, no, because it's been confusing for people. So we're trying to keep it as simple as possible.
Nice. Let's... The username is literally the word what, asks, when will the demo songs be released?
The demo songs will be released closer to the release date. That's pretty much all we can say for now, because that's sort of something we're still working on, sort of ironing out with the producers, which we'll probably iron out when the first payments go out in about 2 weeks once we get all the money from Indiegogo. So we'll give you better updates in the future. Vocosphere asked, will her release day be treated as her birthday or just her anniversary? I guess we will probably celebrate it pretty extensively, given that we want to keep making more things for Solaris for people who love Solaris to enjoy. So I guess it could be celebrated like her birthday. It is also her software release anniversary. We will probably celebrate it like a birthday, but probably keep referring to it as her anniversary, if that makes sense. So sort of a middle ground there. Zedric asks, for the people who bought physical Solaris box, will you give your address now or later? We will be sending out once, as every wave of packages is ready, we'll be sending out like confirmation emails to be like, hey, is this address that was on your Indiegogo account correct? Or if there wasn't one on your Indiegogo account, hey, let us know your address so we can send this to you. Because we understand that, 3 of us just moved, and I'm moving to, 2 of us just moved, I'm moving tomorrow. We understand a lot of people are moving, and that's just over 6 months from now, 7 months from now, that most of the rewards will go out, especially the physical edition will go out 8 months from now. So we will be asking for everybody's sort of updates.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll ask you again later. And we won't ship it out until you tell us or say, no, it's all good. So, because we want to make sure everyone gets her, and that none of them get lost in the mail.
Yeah.
All right. Rolling Art 23 asks, do people who paid for higher tiers get rewards from lower tiers?
It depends on the tier. So Superfan tiers got everything below them. Ultrafan tiers got everything. And then depending on the tier, it should be, if you go to the Indiegogo page, Eli, could you do this while I'm talking?
Yeah.
If you go to the Indiegogo page and click on the specific tiers, you can see a list of what is gotten through them. All tiers get the digital supporter rewards, and then it depends on what is available. So you can read everything that comes in the tier by clicking on it. Someone asks if she will be featured on the official SynthView website because they haven't been updating the voice bank list with new ones. I guess we'll just ask Dreamtonics about that.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have to ask. We're not sure.
Yeah, we'll ask.
We are on it.
It might be that they want to just keep it so that there's not too many listed, or that they just haven't gotten around to it since so many new vocals have come out so recently. But yeah, we'll ask. Someone asks if we'll keep the prototype on hand for time capsule reasons. Yeah, we'll keep her. We'll keep her if we're allowed. We haven't been told that we have to get rid of her yet. We'd like to show her for demonstration purposes of like what the crowdfund helped like create. So it's like we had this demo, and then because of the crowdfund, because of what everyone helped us make, Solaris now sounds like this and is this good, like basically. So that's how we hope to use that voice in the future. Other than that, it will remain private and a secret. A few people have asked about future vocals. Right now, we don't know because it will depend on how well Solaris sells. Because it would depend on if we're able to raise the funds or not. We don't want to crowdfund again. If we have to, we would like to fund it mostly through Solaris sales and then come back and be like, okay, if we make another vocal, which we may not, but we would like to. If we do, we would come back with our own funds from selling Solaris and say, okay, we only need probably a fraction. So, for example, hey, we need 10,000 more to make a new voice. Help. We don't want to ask for as much as we did now. We would like to raise the money quietly and through sales. Because that would also justify creating a new vocal. Because if you think about it, we shouldn't make a new vocal if nobody wants to buy Solaris. If you think about it, obviously there's a good amount of demand for Solaris because she got funded. So there's going to be a lot of Solarises out there. So we hope that we'll be able to think about that soon. Right now, we just need to focus on how well Solaris does.
At that point, we're actually caught up on all of our questions.
Here's one.
Okay.
Is the design similarity to the Statue of Liberty intentional or incidental?
It is incidental.
Completely incidental.
I was surprised when people started saying that.
Yeah, I never saw it, and now I'm looking at it, and I see it.
Yeah.
I guess it's just the crown.
Completely incidental.
Yeah, like, it's completely incidental. I guess, like, the Statue of Liberty's crown is, like, quite a bit different, so it's not really something we thought about, but, I guess Solaris is, and you'll see this in the concept art book, Solaris's, sort of sun crown started very thin and sort of worked its way up to, like, actually being, like, a sturdy, like, metal piece. It originally started as basically just lines. So it's interesting to see that comparison drawn, considering it's sort of, I would say, midway between where it originally started and looking like a Statue of Liberty.
John Doe asks, will you be selling the Synth editor because it is hard to purchase in the West?
We would have to negotiate that with Dreamtonics, but you can get the Synth editor from Anycute, the site managed by Anymen.
Yeah, I'll send the link for purchasing. This is the easiest place to purchase it in the West,
Yes.
digitally. So that's the place where you would buy the Pro Editor. Right now, we have no plans to purchase the, to negotiate the rights to sell the editor. But it is something we could look into, and we could theoretically ask about that and selling starter packs and things like that. Right now, it is not in the plans, especially because you can use Solaris without purchasing the editor, because you can use the just normal Synthesizer V Studio editor with her, and she'll be just fine. So we also don't want to give the impression that you have to, although it is great. I love the Pro Editor. All four of us, I believe, have the Pro Editor and use it all the time.
I got it like a month ahead of time for $30 because of a Quad Dimension loyalty sale. So I've had it this entire time.
Yeah, we've all... I purchased it as soon as you could purchase physical versions, which are only sold,
we did that in a group order, too.
Yeah, so we bought all those. It was funny, we were working on Solaris when we bought that, too. So, but we all use the Pro Editor and love it. The features in the Pro Editor are awesome. They just added more in Gen 3. It just keeps getting better. But the standard editor is excellent too, and really helps you get a feel for Synthesizer V. Yeah, I guess I always go off on that tangent. But let's do one more question, take a quick break, and then we will be joined by our special guest, Circus.
And I will be
after
leaving,
we come back from. Oh yeah, and then Yudrina will be leaving.
I'll probably still hang out in the chat for a while, but I'm leaving the live stream, and Circus is joining after this break.
After the small break that we will take. But we'll do one more question first.
Quick, so what's the question?
One question. It can be a small question.
Go,
Wait,
go!
Don't we have another question?
No,
like, lined up?
we finished them all. We caught up.
Did we?
Yeah.
Okay.
We caught up.
Someone right now just asked that the Pro Editor, like, does the Pro Editor have plugins? Yes, you can create your own plugins if you program. We will be releasing, I think I've said this before, we'll be releasing a few plugins with Solaris that'll only work in the Pro Editor because, like, that's a built-in feature of the Pro Editor. They probably won't be anything, like, super special, but just, like, little things to help you use Solaris a little bit easier if you have the Pro Editor. So we'll probably do something small like that. And one more question. Someone asked if you'll be able to monetize YouTube content with Solaris. If you bought Solaris, you can monetize anything with her.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
You have unlimited commercial usage of the voice bank when you buy her, and use of the character, such as like printing her on an album. You don't need permission for up to $1,000 of profit. And if you make more than $1,000, shoot us a message.
Just talk to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll find you. But yeah, if you make that more than that in profit, like, just talk to us and we'll be like, oh, okay, well, you just have this additional commercial license only for the character, not for the voice. Buying the voice, you get a commercial license for the voice for as much as you want.
Yes,
if Solaris has a light version, you will not be allowed to use her commercially.
Yes.
That is not in the plan right now. It might become in the plan over the next few months.
Yep. So.
Okay. We'll take a short break. So Eli, if you would just want to open a text document to say that we're on break for the next 5 or so minutes, maybe I'll come back and just talk to everybody. But we'll be back in 5, and then Circus will be joining us.
And they'll be leaving, but probably still in chat.
Yeah. Bye, Yudrina. Thank you for joining us.
Bye.
Thank you for being part of the stream.
Bye, guys. Good luck with the rest of the live stream.
And we'll see you all in 5 minutes.
In 5 minutes. Okay, we're all muted. Oh, I'm not muted. Hey guys, it's just me. No. You guys just get to listen to me talk. Everyone else is muted. It's just me. I'm not muted. I have to mute on OBS so everyone gets to listen to me talk.
Oh wait, you're not muted.
I'm not muted. Neve just walked in.
Hi everybody. I live with Kanadi, so I just walked over.
Don't say anything you wouldn't want to go public. Quick, everybody spill the secrets.
Solaris is a goddess. Did you know?
Solaris is a goddess. Taylor's gonna get back. She's like, what are you guys doing?
Tell us a story.
Oh,
no. Let's see. A story.
let's see.
Everyone's like, whomst? And I'm like, it's literally me. It's Neve. I just walked into the next room.
Yeah,
And
okay,
I'm not-
here's the story. So, yeah, Neve and I just rented an apartment, and we have bedrooms right next to each other. So now Eclipsed Sounds, like, technically has a quote-unquote office, because 2 out of 4 of the team is living together.
Yeah, internet friends and coworkers moved in with each other.
Yeah.
And it works out really well.
And my cat is here, too.
And also our cat is here. She's so cute. The official mascot for Eclipsed Sounds, Sophia.
The sun?
Hey, did you guys know that she's actually based on the sun? Fun fact. Water on the Street is Solaris is based off the sun. Eclipsed HQ!
Yeah.
Have you heard of the new Synthesizer V vocal being fundraised by Eclipsed Sounds?
The sun is a deadly laser. It's true.
The sun is a deadly laser.
Another story is, for Miku Expo a few years ago in DC, the heat index was really high, and I had to go sit down for like 3 hours instead of waiting in line. I'm not muted. I'm not muted. I can't say this.
I'll talk for you in your stead. Is Sophia the cat the real leader? I would say so. Sophia AI. I'm not sure that would work with a cat meow.
She meows a lot, though.
She
She's
meows a
very
lot,
vocal.
but she meows very softly.
The sun is too deadly. This nice lady handed me an umbrella. So
Kennedy gets trolled. I'm gonna personally make that comic, Oniric. I will personally draw that with actual stories that are real TM.
I'm so
It's
glad
so funny.
everyone likes my cat.
I also love that everyone's spelling it with a PA.
I feel like that's how it's actually supposed to be spelled, and I've been
Probably,
just spelling
but
it wrong
she's-
this entire time.
Eclipsed Meowns. I like that.
Meows.
She is actually the CEO of Eclipsed Sounds. I like Eclipsed Meowns. That's pretty clever.
Yeah, I don't know how to sit. Wait, okay, let me see if I can find a picture of my cat on my Twitter, so you can all enjoy my
All right,
cat.
hello, I'm back. If anyone else is back, just chime in.
Oh, so I forgot that you have to unmute yourself and mute yourself on OBS.
Oh.
So I've been
Oh,
talking
for you.
this entire time, and everyone can hear me.
Sorry, everybody. You know, it wouldn't be an Eclipse Sound stream without some technical difficulties.
Yeah, so Neve came
that's
over
our
and
way.
we were talking. We were sharing stories.
Oh my goodness. I'll just cover some small questions that happened while we were gone. Paper Darkfish asked, since the alternate character art is a stretch goal already, will Solaris have extra assets, like a cartoony style one, or talk sprites, or anything like that? We'll talk more about that extra art thing at the end of the stream with our fun little special announcement that we have. We'll talk more about that at the end of the stream. We do intend to also just get more assets made for Solaris over the course of her release existence. So there's two answers to that. And we'll see more of that later. As far as Meringue Reverie asks, will any unclaimed physical copies be sold later, or will only the pledged physical copies be produced? Only the pledged physical copies will be produced. Because we do have to buy DVD cases in certain allotments, we could end up with, like, there are 10 extra copies, but those extra copies would be reserved for, like, events that we would hold in the future, rather than selling them off later. So the only way to get the physical will be now. We might release, like, a printable version of the physical that won't have sort of all of the flair and pizzazz that we're going to put on the one that's actually going out to backers. We could release that later, but right now we are just focusing on creating those ones. But no, extras won't be sold later. Someone asked us another question. I'll cover that once we go over the announcements and let Circus talk, because he's just chilling here muted. So for our hourly announcement, Eli, if you could go back to the funding page. I believe we've hit 104% of the goal.
We have, yes.
Which is incredible, so thank you so much. I'm glad that everyone's sort of coming in to get what they want right at the end, just to be sure. I hope that everyone who wants something can get it before the end of the crowdfunding period. Sorry that so much has to be exclusive. It's a lot about, like, the agreements that we made with the artists that we worked with, and just logistically, we can't keep making things forever, just because we're a very tiny business without a lot of if we keep doing merchandise, it will just probably be me with all of the merchandise in my house, in my apartment, and I will go and fill orders and send them all out every Saturday. It won't be like a warehouse situation or a getting a specific employee to do it, other than it probably just being me situation, which is why we can't do those long term. Otherwise, we would love to do physical editions long term. It's just not realistic for the company at large. As far as, we're at $41,686 on Indiegogo, which is insane as a number to say. I can't thank you all enough. And through PayPal donations, an update, sort of a live update, is that they've increased by 15. So it's 1,476.93 now during the live stream. So thank you so much. That's going to be very, very helpful, especially because there will be a buffer if because there's all those new EU tax regulations that we'll have to follow next year for physical releases. That'll be a big thing that we have to pay for as well. So probably some of this is going to that as well. I'm just thinking about shipping now. But that's all of that. Those are all of our announcements right now. Other than the fact that Circus will be here for an hour. So, Circus, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm Circus. I've been writing music with vocal synths for like 11 years? 11 years. For a long time. And I'm really excited for Solaris.
I mean, that's exciting for us to hear. Mostly because, like, of course, there's no point for us making Solaris if no one wants to use her. So I'm glad that you want to use her. Circus will be one of the people making one of the 4 selected so far, and maybe in total, writing a demo song for Solaris. And I think a lot of people here have been attending his live streams, where he's been writing. I think Did you say that that is the demo song, or won't be, and will just be a different one?
So I started 2 songs, and I don't think either of them will be the demo song. I think because I wanted to work with you guys on the demo song to kind of have more of a background insight on Solaris and have your input for specifically what I should do for the demo. So I was just writing songs that I wanted to hear Solaris sing myself, kind of selfishly.
I mean, that was that was incredibly helpful. So so thank you for that. That definitely, I think, really pushed us over the edge. So we really can't thank you enough for those for those live streams.
I was just really happy to help, and I think I backed like the first day of the campaign, and I was just super excited. And I wanted to do something like that for a while, but then my only regret was that I didn't start the streams a bit earlier, but I'm really happy that I did them when I did, because I think a lot of people came into the streams like, wow, Solaris looks cool. And I'm really happy to share Solaris with more people, because she is cool. She looks really cool, and I'm really excited.
Well, thank you so much for that. That was definitely probably one of the more wild things when we were watching. I mean, we were at your streams.
Mhm.
And that was so cool. So I guess I don't want to be a broken record, but thank you so much for that. And I guess we're kind of gonna have a more relaxed format. And if you're willing to take questions from the chat about Solaris, guys, I know everyone loves Circus, but please, if you're going to ask him questions, please ask them about Solaris, or at least Solaris related, Synthesizer V at least. If you'd be willing to take questions as well, we also have a couple for you specifically. We were just sort of, I mean, you talked a little bit about it already. We were just sort of wondering, like, your initial impression of the project. I know we reached out to you on teaser day, just being like, hey. Or maybe it was design release day. Everything's a blur now. But it was just like, hey, would you, because we wanted to avoid any leaks was one of our big things during production. So we waited until then, and just like immediately we're like, okay, DM Circus, let's go. We have to get this out before we release the crowdfund page, because like we need to show who we're having. And it was just like we had sort of already discussed. It was like she's gonna say yes.
Yeah.
But it was like we need that yes, and we need that contract before releasing it.
I'm sorry. I remember there was a stream that you had been attending. It was someone else's stream, and you were like, if any synth V company wants me to make a demo for free, I'll just do it.
Yeah.
And we screenshotted that, and we're like, we're gonna show him this screenshot and be like, hey, we're cashing this in.
Yeah, except obviously not for free. Like we are, like, I don't know. It's important to us as a company to like pay the people we work with.
I definitely get that.
But we really appreciate like your enthusiasm. And okay, working back around to the question, I don't want to just talk at you, but we were wondering what your like initial impression, sort of before we reached out to you, of the project was.
Sophia, no.
So when I first saw the silhouette, I'll be perfectly honest, I was wary, but I was interested. And I think what really got me actually interested was when there was an actual proof of concept demo, and the reveal of the design in the song also made me really hyped. Like, you know, when she hits that high note, and I was like, oh, this design's cute. You know, this the second it happened. And because with the silhouette, the cape purposely kind of, you don't see the dress silhouette. So I almost worried that she was going to be in like a leotard or something. And I was like, well, new English synth. I'm excited for that, but I'm not so sure if I'd be into the design. But then the design was revealed, and it just, I love the colors and I love the art style, and it's just like it still feels very vocal synth, but very unique and fresh as far as a vocal synth goes. And I knew it was one of those moments. I think the other vocal synth that I kind of got all excited about just from a short teaser like that was it actually the Ia demo? Like she just had a single like happening, and it was similar to that, and that I was like, okay, I'm excited. I'm gonna buy her. I'm gonna support her whenever it happens. And then you guys
Oh,
contacted
I
me.
remember that demo. That
Yeah.
was crazy. Well, I'm glad the video was so compelling because I'm sitting there. I don't know how long I worked on the. I did the video. I don't know how many weeks I was like perfecting the timing of that, and so I'm glad that worked.
Yeah.
Because I think we drove. We had oversight from Dreamtonics as far as like all of our initial promotional materials concerns, which I think everyone could expect. The amount of times we sent them sort of a new version of the video, I think we were really getting on their nerves.
Yeah.
Probably not, but I feel bad for the person who was reviewing them. So, all right.
We have a few chat questions for you, Circus, if that's okay.
Oh yeah, sure.
Bokamu asked, how fun was it to do the scrolling text during the live streams? I loved that.
That was a last minute. So I think it was because I did that on the Friday stream, and I remember because I don't normally stream that late in the day, so I normally give myself 15 minutes before a stream to kind of get ready, but I decided to give myself like 45 minutes. So I was like, what can I do? What's something fun that I can do? And I just put that together in honestly like 3 minutes, and I kind of had to take like 5 minutes to just laugh at myself because I kind of liked it too. I was impressed with myself because it's so simple, but it is kind of funny.
It's so funny. That was
hilarious. Watching it for the first time, it was like, hey, wait, what?
that was so funny and unexpected.
It was fun.
Do we have
It was
more
a lot of
questions?
Yes, we have just one more for him right now. Is just what do you like the most about Solaris?
Ooh, I think I was initially excited about the character and the design and the fact that it's a new English vocal synth. But after I think about a day, or not even, I think it was day of, I went to listen to Emma Rowley's work, and knowing what I knew about AI and how it captures a voice, I was like really excited for that. Because to me, I think the voice is, in the end, the most important part of a vocal synth. And I'm just so excited to hear what that's going to sound like. And I think a vocal tone like that is just, I'm just really excited to work with that and see how SynthV will kind of transform that. I was just really intrigued, and I'm excited for the voice mostly, to be honest.
Oh yeah, us too. I mean, obviously we don't have the AI one done yet. But when Synthesizer V AI was revealed as an option, because obviously we've been working on this since Gen 1. And as soon as that was revealed, we were like, oh, that's the choice. Like, that's what we're doing. That's going to capture her voice so much better than, like, standard voice banks are great, but for, like, this project to capture exactly how Emma Rowley sings, just like you said, like, AI is the choice. For you, Dorothy3242 asks, Circus, are you getting the physical edition so you can do a dancing box in a Solaris cover video?
Yes. I think I might have pledged, so I wanted to pledge some more at one point, and I was like, well, I want to get a reward. So I might be getting 2 boxes? One
oh god, and we
signed
were going to send you a box too.
Oh, wow. I'll take it. I mean, I'll have it.
I mean, do what you want with them at that point. So, I mean, thank you for pledging, but I guess you'll... Who has the most Solaris boxes? It's like, oh, well, you'll have more than probably we have as a company. So...
I will cherish them.
I guess we wanted to ask, not to put you on the spot like this, because obviously this will be a conversation we have probably starting tomorrow, since that's when the crowdfund is officially over. But what kind of song would you personally want to? I guess you already started a few, but what kind of song would you think would be perfect, like for Solaris, whether you make it or someone else does?
Oh, I think so. I wrote a song in this style recently, and I love the name of it. I think bardcore or tavern wave style music that's like it
Ooh.
combines modern pop styles but with like medieval instruments, and it just sounds like if you took a fantasy game OST and you made it a pop song. I think that really fits Solaris's both like pop vocalist but also like fantasy visuals, and I think that would be a lot of fun. I think that's the song and the style I'm most excited for with Solaris.
Yeah, I think that would definitely be incredible. I think at that point, like that has to be the one that we ask you to do for the demo
That
song.
sounds so excellent.
Because like as soon as you said it, I was like, that's it. That's gonna be perfect. So that'll be great. I'm just thinking about it now, and I love that as like a genre that's like really picked up over the past couple years. It's so
Mhm.
fun. All right. I guess this is more a question for all of us because it's more of like a funny question. But Meerkat P asks, "What's the plural of Solaris?" Solari.
I mean,
I
Solari
don't
is
know.
like the funniest way to say it, so that's my vote.
Well, Circus, as the as the future owner of multiple Solarises, how are you gonna say it?
See, I like Solari. I think that's fun. Look at all those Solari. Yeah, I think
A
that's
flock
fun.
of Solari.
I almost want to be like the first box you get, or like I'm not sure if you had gotten like an autographed copy or anything like that. I haven't like seen anything, but
If you didn't, we will provide.
my thought was like if you have one that is signed, that could be like Solaris Prime, and then you just have like the other one.
I got one box not signed, and then I realized, oh, I didn't get the signature. So
Oh
then I
my
bought another box
God.
with the signature.
Oh
You
my
did not.
God.
I know, but I also
Oh.
wanted to pledge more.
Oh, and I guess I should probably say, for the purposes of everybody knowing, the signature will be on the box insert, just for mailing purposes, so we don't mail 60 DVD cases back and forth across the country to make sure that Emma gets them all signed. So, so it'll be on the insert rather than the case. That'll also probably keep it nicer too.
Mhm.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. It would probably get scratched off on the case pretty easy. I guess this is just sort of a general question. But how do you feel about Synthesizer V?
Oh, I so I was excited with the release of Gen 1. But I was a bit like I wouldn't say wary, but it had some issues that made me still use Vocaloid mostly. But I did really love Eleanor Forte. Um, but I think it was around the end of 2019, I ordered Haigi, Quad Dimensions local Haigi, and I became obsessed. And ever since then, I've been secretly focusing on Synth V. I think I've written more secret Synth V songs than Vocaloid songs in the past 2 years, just because it's, especially with Studio Pro, it's genuinely so fun to use. And I think that it was the first vocal synth program that I had like a lot of fun with. Like I didn't feel like I was fighting against anything to make it sound how I want it to sound. It just was fun. It was a lot of fun. And I think I'm just excited for the AI voice banks, but I'm just excited to use it.
Oh my
Any
gosh.
excuse.
I know exactly what you mean, like with feeling that you don't fight it. Like, and Gen 1 was like clunkier, but like as soon as Gen 2 was revealed, it was like, oh, this is how you organize, like how the menus are
Yeah.
organized, and everything is just so. flawless in a lot of ways. I mean,
Mhm.
I hate to say that, like, because I feel like I'm accidentally, like, maybe overhyping it as, like, someone who's technically making, like, on a team to make a synth V, but, like, I have never had a more fun time using a vocal synth either, and
Agreed.
I don't know, to hear you as, like, a veteran, like, vocal synth user, like, probably one of, like, if not the most well-known in the English space for using vocal synths. I think that settles it.
May Taylor, I just saw a pretty funny comment that I would love to share with the class.
Please.
V. Albani says, if you put 5 Solarises in a summoning circle, you can summon Emma Rowley.
I feel like
And I think
that
that's
is true.
hilarious.
That's gotta be true, right? Oh my gosh, Emma's... I do, for a second, if we could, sidebar. Emma's whole reaction to this project has been incredible. Right? Like, she has never heard, at the start of this project, never heard of vocal synth, didn't know anything about it, but was like, that sounds really cool. I'm interested. And just the way that both the community has embraced her and, like, future Solaris owners have embraced her, has been just so funny. Like, and just so just charming, to see that just happening. Because I feel like we don't see a lot of voicer engagement from people who come from outside of the community. It's more like if we know that they aren't, like, interested in, like, that they weren't already in the vocal synth space, we don't end up hearing a lot about them, and they don't end up being involved in the project very much. And so I just think it's very fun, and I hope that everyone else enjoys that.
Yeah.
Fully funded, she made a blog post about it, and she just seems so proud, and she's constantly been so supportive, and I've actually seen her commenting on fan art now too, which I think is so sweet, because it's like, that's kind of the dream as an artist, like having the voice provider of that product commenting on your stuff saying, oh my god, this is spectacular. Like, I hope that everyone is feeling as hyped as we are about her.
I wonder if we could pay her for vocalist versions of some of the demos. Just putting that out there, if anyone would be interested in that. Sorry, Circus, I know we're, like, kind of winding down because we went through so many questions in the first half, so hopefully it's more of just a chill stream. I guess if there was one thing you could, like, demand that we do for the future of Solaris, so not other vocals, but just, like, what should we do for the future of Solaris? Like, what would your hopes be for the future of Solaris and, like, I guess English Synth V projects as a whole?
Well, so the first thing that I was really impressed with and really happy about was the transparency right up front. The proof of concept voice bank, the, like, transparency of who the voicer is, that, you know, the official affiliation with Dream Tonics, everything made it so that, because the vocal synth community has seen a few other crowdfunding campaigns that there's been a lot to be wary about. But
Yeah.
It felt just so nice to see a campaign where the only worry was the funds, which is as it should be. And then, you know, afterwards there's more worries. But the initial upfront worry is the funds. And I feel like that's seeing something, like, it was so... I was just so happy to see it so well put together. I think it was a great initial impression and a great pitch for a new vocal synth. And I think you guys did a great job of that.
Well, thank you. I guess we ended up doing that pretty well because, like, you know, we've all been here for, like, 10 years at this point, and so we've seen all of those other funding projects.
Yeah.
The ones that funded and the ones that didn't, and so we sort of saw that, and we were just like, okay, well, we know what to do, what not to do. We knew the things that made us wary about other projects, and just tried to put everything out there. And there are things that we wanted to be even more transparent about, and then we showed it to Dream Tonics, and they were like, you are almost breaking non-disclosure agreement here, so please delete this from your crowdfund. And we're just like, okay. Like, our funding breakdown was originally much more detailed. And then they were like,
Ooh.
hey, you're accidentally revealing the development cost here. And we were like, understood. So maybe we almost took transparency too far. Yeah, I'm glad that that was something that you and I guess others noticed and appreciated as well. I guess that's our major company goal, is like providing transparency in a rather opaque space. I would feel like everything about vocal synthesis feels transparent. Like, you know, it's the singer, but you can see exactly how they work, and like you can buy them yourselves and you can read all the tech specs. But the development side has been rather secretive, and we sort of wanted to keep that open as much as we can. I think we're going to go into some, and if you want to obviously jump in at any point, we're going to jump into some of the questions in chat that are just directed towards all of us.
Sounds good.
This is just one that I need to say that we can't talk about yet. Robbins P asks, what were some of Solaris's beta names, and did she have any? All will be revealed when the production diary ships out at the end of the summer. She had a few beta names, and I think we'll talk about that a little bit later.
A little bit.
A little bit. But she had a lot of beta names, she kind of kept the same theme the whole time. So, like, you know, this is not one of her beta names, but, like, theoretically, like, one of her beta names could have been, like, SOLARIS, like, things like that. This is not one that we tried. Yeah, she had quite a few beta names, and they will all be shown later. Vocosphere asked if we ever needed to consider keeping Solaris's voice provider a secret. And no. We, from the beginning, wanted it to be clear who the voice provider was, both for crowdfunding purposes and also, excuse me, for crowdfunding purposes and also for just transparency in general. So we never even considered keeping her a secret, mostly because she was very excited about the project, and if we had to make her stay quiet about it, I think we would feel bad. Also, guys, if you could please send questions also specifically for Circus as well. Sorry, Circus, we did try to write a bunch of questions, but, like, you've also been very upfront in everything that you feel about Solaris, so, like, we're sitting here and it's just like, well, I guess, like, we could ask him to say this again, but we did, like, we did hear him say this already.
I wouldn't mind repeating anything.
Yeah, so I guess, like, oh my goodness. I just completely blanked. I'll just read the questions from the chat.
I'm typing them out right now.
Okay, so I'll just read questions. Sorry, we're getting quite late. We're in hour 3 of the stream, so we probably should have brought you in earlier. Live and learn. But Zephyr asked what prompted us to want to make Solaris in the first place and why we chose Emma Rowley as the voice. We chose Emma Rowley as the voice, both because we felt her vocals really filled a niche. I don't know if you agree, Circus, but we felt like she really filled a niche that was missing in English vocal synth, which is just like a clean, clear English feminine pop vocal.
Yeah. It seems like we got close, but we weren't quite there with certain vocals.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
like we kept getting, like, if you use them all together, you basically get that, right?
Yeah.
like I'm going to talk specifically Vocaloid here for a lot because that's where most of, like, the commercial English synths reside right now. But the first attempt at this, I feel like, was Sonica, who ended up being a lot softer than they probably hoped and, like, having a lot of technical issues. And then there was also from Zero G, Dinah, who also sort of had a similar problem where she ended up being, like, breathy. She didn't have technical issues. She's great. But didn't sort of hit that, like, basic pop vocal. She's great, though. Like, both of these vocals I absolutely love. But it's just, like, they're just not that niche.
Mhm.
basically. And then the closest we probably got was with Cyber Diva from Yamaha and Ruby from Power Effects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But both of them are sort of more nasal vocals, and so end up being more niche as well in that way.
Mhm.
I don't know if you agree or not, but that was sort of the calculus that we made when we decided, like, okay, well, Emma is a perfect voicer then.
Yeah, that's how I felt. I think you basically described how I felt about English vocal synths that were close but not quite there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like they're all great. Like they all do their own thing very well, but they
Mhm.
weren't this niche and they weren't like the sort of I guess in a lot of ways I don't want to say like the default English like feminine pop singer because like one there really isn't like a default vocal type. And two, we don't really see Solaris as like okay, generic English singer. But in a lot of ways we want her to be flexible in that way. So yeah, I'm glad that we're not the only people who thought that. Because in that case we would have sort of failed in a way. I see some people in the chat saying like you like Ruby's great, like don't be mean to Ruby. And we're just saying like Ruby is very close and just doesn't quite like is just
Ruby-
more
She feels more like closer to R&B vocal than like
yeah.
Yeah.
pop vocal. She works really good. I think Ruby's voicer does a lot of covers with Ruby, and a lot of them are like R&B, and they are so good. They fit so well. But
Yeah, they're
it's
so
not-
good.
yeah, it's not quite that specific pop vocal though that Emma Rowley definitely like has that tone.
I do have a couple questions for you, Circus, from the
Ooh.
chat. Now that people have been kind of flooding in as we've been having this conversation. Let's see. Someone asks, would you be willing to make an album for Solaris?
I think at this rate I might have one lined up already because I've got with the demo song on top of the 2 songs I've started, that's 3. And I think an album needs to just be like
I know, short EP, just 2 or 3.
yeah. Yeah, it's already a short EP right there. And with time I'll probably write more to be honest.
I mean, thank you very much. But
Someone else asks, are you thinking of producing a PV for your demo song?
Ooh. I'm not quite sure yet. That's if not the song, definitely the visuals and the PV is something I would want to at least have you guys have input on the Eclipsed Sounds team. Because
yeah, and if
it's
you
gonna be a demo, you know.
yeah, of course. I guess we do need input on that. But if you also need, I guess, we do have a little bit of discretionary fund in that way. So I guess just let us know if like, hey, like I need money. I've picked out like these artists that I think would be good for the song. I need money to commission them. We'll front that kind of cost as well. So I guess some of this is like logistical discussions that we will have literally tomorrow. But yeah, just let us know. Because even if that like funding has to come from, I guess, literally our pocket, we've been funding Solaris out of pocket in a lot of ways. So we have the money. So whatever you need. Our very valued demo song producer. And this goes, if there's any other demo song producers on stream, this goes for you too. We'll all hit you up tomorrow.
It's just a matter of time.
Matter of time and
Soon.
figuring out that spreadsheet.
Yes. Someone asks if you would do your little Solaris speech, Circus.
Yes. I knew there was a reason I saved this text document.
Wait, there was a text document?
Yeah, I
I
can
didn't
hold
see
on.
that.
Of the whole Solaris spiel, right? I think I can paste it. I'll paste it in like the Discord.
Oh my goodness.
Everyone
well,
gets
if you would no. Circus, if you would deliver your famous speech, now copy pasta in the vocal synth space. If you would be so kind.
Okay. Wait, I need to take a sip of water.
Bro.
Okay. Have you heard of the upcoming vocal synth Solaris? Created by Eclipsed Sounds in collaboration with Dream Tonics, Solaris is an English AI voice bank currently raising funds for development. She will be voiced by Emma Rowley, a professional singer-songwriter. If you're interested in learning more about Solaris or hearing a demonstration of her proof-of-concept voice bank, please check out Eclipsed Sounds' website in the description of this... well, is this in this live stream?
I guess our website is not in the description of this live stream, is it?
Not in the description of this live stream. If you'd like to help fund Solaris' voice bank, there's also a link in the description to her Indiegogo campaign. That's true, I think I just
That's
checked.
there.
At this time, she is 120% funded, including PayPal and other contributions not listed in the Indiegogo website. With only 6 days left to go. With only 6 hours?
5 hours.
4 hours? 5 hours left to go for her campaign. They're incredibly past 100% funding, so please be sure to check it out if you can. And if you can't financially support it yourself, sharing the campaign to others who may be interested is more than enough. Let's fund Solaris.
Love
Really enjoyed the announcer
as much
voice
as
there.
that was excellent. I just like the fact that there can only be about a third of it pasted into the YouTube comments, so it's just the same exact copy paste that people are pasting.
Yeah.
Into.
Solaris is an English AI voice bank currently raising funds for development. She will.
Yeah.
She will.
She will.
Oh no, now people are pasting their Wrist World copy pasta.
Two of the best things to come out of the vocal synth community this month.
Yeah, this month. Man, has it just been you guys, or does it just feel like the vocal synth fandom is like just having a great time these past couple months?
Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
things were
Absolutely.
real quiet for a while, like last year, the year before, and now everything is just, there's announcements around every corner.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we woke up tomorrow and there was, this is not, I don't know anything. I mean, I guess there'll be like the updates on the Solaris campaign, but I wouldn't be surprised if we woke up tomorrow and there's another announcement. Like, it just feels like it's every day these days.
Yeah. She will.
She will.
Yeah, you're right. You know, she will. I don't know what it is, but she will.
But she will. Geronis Lair asks how excited you are to be involved in this project, Circus.
I'm super excited. I'm super excited for Solaris, and I'm really excited to write a demo song for Solaris. I think the most excited, because I was planning on writing songs for Solaris already, but I'm excited to try and think of one that's like really fitting of Solaris, a really fitting demo song, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think we're really excited to have you on the project because, I don't know, you're just great. Like, I don't know how to say that enough. But and you've been, like, very responsive this whole time and, like, just very involved. And, like, we appreciate that in a lot of ways. All right, guys, please stop posting the coffee pasta so we can actually answer people's questions. We appreciate you all, and you're all hilarious. But
If you want to post it, you can @me on Twitter. I will accept this burden.
Oh,
so that
hilarious.
You
they
have
can get
brought this
questions.
into the world and you must face the consequences.
Celeste, this is actually a question for you.
oh no, not me.
Will Solaris be included in your rhythm game?
Oh, I guess I am making like a fan rhythm game for vocal synths. I would feel weird about including Solaris in it just because I'm on the team and I don't want it to be taken as like a canon thing for Solaris, but I might include her in it. Who knows? I had to put that game on hold because of Solaris, so maybe it would be fitting for her to be in it. We'll move on from that. We have a question for Circus, and this is just a general songwriting tip. What would be your biggest advice and your biggest tip you would give to producers and songwriters just starting out?
Oh, I think starting a song from any direction is the right way to start a song. If you have an idea for any part of a song, whether it's lyrics or a beat or like a bass line or just anything, start with that. You can build off of any part of the song, and there's no proper way to start one. Uh, and also just have fun with it. Write what you want to hear. Don't try and write what you think other people want to hear, because in the end, if you're making it, you should make it for you.
Yeah.
Which those are kind of. I think those are all I've got right now.
I think that's really great advice, because I feel like everyone gets told like this is the way to make a song when you're first starting out, or this is the way, and it's like music isn't something that just has a formula that you follow.
Yeah, there's so many ways to go about it, and I've definitely learned over the years of writing a song, writing multiple songs, that I think I've started from every direction, and they all become songs. In the end, it's always a song. So.
If I may add my own tip, use a rhyme zone.
Use Rhyme Zone.
Oh yeah.
This is not sponsored by Rhyme Zone.
Yeah, it helps.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess just use the tools. I don't know. I'm not a good producer. I'm a programmer.
Use a rhyme zone.
Okay, I'm trying to find questions in the chat.
I have a question down, but I think I only have one more for Circus at the moment. Which is just kind of another repeat of questions that you have generously been answering this whole time. Do you plan on making many more songs with Solaris, or just Synthvi in general?
Yes to both. I'm really excited for both trying more genres with Solaris, and also I'm just excited for Synthvi in general. That's been the vocal synth I've been looking at the most lately. I think I've bought a lot of them. I remember as I was watching this stream earlier, not to kind of, I don't know if this is like a funny thing, but I remember when you guys were listing off other Synthvis that you liked, I agreed with all of them, and then I also realized, wait, that's all of them. That's every Synthvi.
Yeah, I mean, we love Synthvi. I think there's not a Synthvi I don't like. There's not a commercial vocal synth I don't like, to be honest. So yeah, it's just exciting times. All right. So I think that's it for you. If you have any parting words.
Words of wisdom.
Let's see. I hope that the production of Solaris goes well, and also I hope that everyone looks forward to all of the Solaris songs and the demo songs, not just by me, but also by Meltberry, Flangermoose, Ghost. That was it, right? Those three? And me?
Yeah, for now.
Yeah. And I'm just really excited, and I hope you guys keep doing what you're doing, because it's just super exciting. And I'm excited for more Solaris stuff, and for just more Western vocal synth stuff. And I'm really happy that this campaign went so well.
I mean, thank you so much for helping it. And yeah, we hope that we can keep doing like big English vocal synth stuff for everybody. Because I guess we're like, now that Solaris is funded, we're like a real company that can keep doing more things. So yeah, and we hope that we can work with you a lot in the future. And we'll talk to you tomorrow, I guess, about logistics for the demo song. And thank you so much for coming on this stream.
Yeah.
Oh wait, there's one more question. We got one more question for you before you leave. Someone asked, what would be, Companion Jams asked, what would be your like ideal vocal synth if you could choose every aspect from design, range, style, tone? Just build a vocal synth for us real quick in the last 5 minutes.
Right?
No. Obviously, irrespective of this campaign, whatever you want to say.
Solaris is really close. But I found out that the vocal tone I really like. It's similar to Dinah. I think, oh, what's the term? Is it alto? I think I like alto, like with like feminine vocals with very deep low ranges, but very like a complete timbre change in the high range. So it's almost like cutesy, similar to Azuki. The
Oh yeah.
I love that kind of like really mature low range, but really cutesy high range. That voice type. And then as for design, I like so many design concepts, but maybe something kind of like pastel punk would be fun.
Ooh.
I guess that's my dream synth. Pastel punk alto vocalist. Just off the top of my head.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. I
Cool.
wonder if I guess we don't know how Eleanor Forte AI is going to
Oh,
sound,
yeah.
but I wonder if she'll hit that for you, like
Yeah,
vocal wise.
I noticed that with Eleanor. I did a cover once where I pitched her down just a little bit, like my format shifted her down. I think that, and I was like, ooh, I really like how she sounds like this. And then with the high range, I kept it as her original tone. And I think you may be right. I think Eleanor might be really close to that vocal tone. Ooh, that's exciting.
Ooh. Yeah, that is exciting times in the vocal synth world.
Mhm.
Okay, so thank you so much for being here and on kind of short notice for joining our stream.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and we really appreciate you being here, and yeah, talk to you tomorrow, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck with the rest of the stream.
Thank you.
Have a nice night.
Yeah, have a nice
too.
night.
I'll probably stay in
Goodbye.
chat. Bye.
Bye.
All right, we have received quite a few questions in the meantime that were aimed at us specifically. If I may.
You may.
Thank
Or
you.
would we like to do the hour announcements and then?
Should we do hourly announcement first, or should we? We have a couple minutes, so maybe like one question and then.
Yeah, let's do a question and then pull up the hourly announcement.
Let's see. Oniric asks, will you guys be accepting more producers to create demo songs leading up to her release now that she's crowdfunded?
I think we answered this a little bit before, but it never hurts to say it again. Right now, we're sort of like conserving funds and trying to put them towards development as possible, because like more money means better samples, means better AI voice bank, basically is the deal. Like better samples, we can pay for re-records, and we can pay for, I guess, adding more to the database. But given that we make Solaris as good as we can, we might have some discretionary funds to add maybe one demo song. I wouldn't say that we can do more than one or two additional demo songs.
Yeah.
But we hope to be able to do a bunch of promotional songs after her release that I guess could be considered demo songs, because demo songs don't have to be just before release.
Yeah.
So it would just be other demonstration songs that would be post-release, that we would probably in the style that Quada mentioned does, where they will pay certain producers to make songs and they'll pay for the video for it. But then instead of us posting it, we'd rather those producers post it, and we'll post like just as we're going to do for the demo songs, we're going to be posting just a snippet, and those producers will be posting the full songs to their own channels. But we could theoretically do more, depending on sort of additional costs that we will figure out in the spreadsheet in the next 2 weeks. But as for now, I'm going to say conservatively, probably no more producers. But if you want to keep applying and sending in your portfolios, we're keeping them forever for post work, because we're going to keep paying people to use Solaris. Just because we want to support people who are interested in her in the way that you've supported us.
Yeah.
Let's go to one more question. We've got time.
Ooh, one more question. I got it. Zafuri asks, do you plan on continuing your social media efforts post-release?
I think I kind of answered this in what we just said. Yes. We're going to keep posting things. We're going to keep posting, like, hopefully when Solaris is done, we'll be like, here's a tip on how to use Solaris. And it's like, you heard this in one of the demo songs. Here's the way that was done. Like, if this is all tentative now, but like for an example for that, if Solaris ends up having a belting high pitch and not a falsetto, if someone ends up using it to sort of fake it into a falsetto tone, we'd be like, here's how that was done. Things like that. In sort of post-release work. And one more question before... we can probably just keep doing questions until 11.
This is a pretty quick one. Someone asks, are you going to be doing reruns of her physical copies for the anniversary or other occasions?
There are no plans to do that at this moment. I mean, probably not, because we probably don't have the, like, ability to do so, given, like, our status as a tiny, tiny company. But we could, maybe, probably not. I'm going to say 80% probably not. If there was a lot of demand, because obviously there's not that many physicals going out into the world right now, excuse me, we probably won't. And if we do in the future, it'll probably be a little different than the way it's being released right now. Because with a little bit of the extra funds, we're hoping to spruce it up a little bit. With a few, like, minor... Well, not, like, changes, because it'll still kind of look like the version that we showed off. But we'd like to make it look a little nice, a little more special. If that makes sense.
It's 11 o'clock.
It's 11 o'clock.
We're on to the last hour.
Woo.
We're on to the final hour of the live stream. Oh man,
1
a 4-hour
hour
stream.
remains.
Why did
Well,
we
1 hour
agree to?
for us.
Why did we decide on this? That was certainly a choice. We've got a lot of announcements in this last hour, but first let's check the crowd fund.
4 hours left. 400%. 104%.
No. Okay, so it's
Um,
exactly the same as the last hour. It makes sense. We probably, I don't know. I don't expect anyone to keep, like, donating at this point, because she's clearly funded, and I hope everyone has already gotten what they wanted from the exclusive things. Unless we shot up suddenly to make it to the exclusive, excuse me, to the stretch goal. I doubt that. I don't really see that happening at this point. I don't want to be pessimistic, but yeah, we probably won't see that much more motion. And thank you all so much for your support. Oh my gosh, someone is joking about the final countdown in the chat, and I think we can share this as a little bit of a story. This is the kind of thing that you'll find out in the production diary, but before we released the crowdfund campaign, we were working off of a document that we had in all caps named The Final Timeline, which I think a version of the final timeline with some things redacted will be included in that production diary as well. But every time we would have a meeting, we would open it and would be like, it's the final timeline. And to the point where way after we were off that document and, like, in the middle of crowdfund, like, everything on the timeline was done, it would still come up in discussion. And so I don't know, that's funny. That's just, like, a funny little,
Yeah,
you know, like, the four of us, we're not just a company together, but, like, we're all just good friends.
It got to the point where if you just said, like, final timeline together, all of us would just burst out into do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do.
It really did slow down the meetings, I will say.
Like, I would do it so often, like, even by myself, that my mom would be like, oh, there they go again. There's
There they go again on the final
timeline."
timeline. That was so So funny.
Make a cover with Final Countdown of Solaris. That would be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool, and also might be something that we'll just. I mean, I guess we can start posting like the dumb stuff we've made with Solaris after she gets given out to everybody.
Be something that's already been done.
Yeah, it might already be existing, but we can't show it to you because it uses the test voice bank. There's a lot of things like that, unfortunately. But that will have to be told to you in the production diary. An add-on for the Solaris campaign that I don't have to shill anymore. I guess I want to answer one more question, but let's just go into...
Let's just do the announcement.
Okay, so first, Eli, I think it's image 3. We're going to talk about the contest finalists, so just let me know when you have that pulled up.
Yeah, I'm going to check.
I'm looking at it. It's image 3.
It's image 3. Ta-da! Contest finalists. It's up.
So for the 4 contest finalists, like these are the entries that we felt sort of embodied what Solaris could be the most, and just, you know, are just all very stylish and cool, and we love them a lot. So that's and these are all Twitter usernames. Akia Poetry. So that's AKI. Well, no one's just listening to the stream probably, so they're all on screen. The other one is CK13, Nixie Blue in the top right, and then Amino Kwas in the bottom right. Sorry if I pronounced anyone's usernames wrong. We loved all of these a lot. We spent a long time deciding between these 4 finalists. All of the entries were incredible, so we spent a long time going through all of them. There were probably like too many entries.
Very hard. It was hard. It was very hard.
Yeah, and especially like the deadline was yesterday, and so like having only 24 hours to judge it, we probably should have given ourselves more time, but we wanted to make sure that it would be announced today. And these are all incredible, and thank you all so much. Everyone who participated we're very very thankful that you did, that you were interested in this, and we loved all of them. We loved every single one, and so this was an extremely difficult decision. But if you would move on to image 4. I know we're doing this just through image files. Is it up?
It is.
Man, we gotta do this with screen share. So the contest winner overall is Nixie Blue's entry. We just thought it just had so much just grace and power and everything about it. You can see the full version on the left, and we just did a cropped version so you could see it better on the stream. It's gorgeous. We love it so much. We loved all of the entries, and this was an extremely hard decision. We will contact you in the next week to give you your copy of the Synthesizer V Pro editor. Thank you all so much for... please stay also, because we do still have that surprise announcement after we answer some more questions. But thank you all so much for all of your entries, and we loved them all, and if we could make everyone win, we could, but we don't have enough money to buy enough of those editors. So thank you all so much, and we will contact you this week. We just need to get some other things settled out first. But expect us to contact you by the end of the week with your download and code for the Synthesizer V Pro editor. So let's do a few more questions, and then we have more things. We have more announcements soon.
Very exciting announcements, I might add. So make sure you stay until the end.
Big announcements. If you can stay, if you can stay, stay. If you can't stay, we understand, and we'll post it on Twitter and everywhere, I guess, because this one's kind of a bigger. We have two announcements coming up at the end of the stream. One of which being the excellent surprise that we have. Okay, so I know we have other questions lined up, so let's pull out some of those.
Yes. Serious Puppet asks, have you thought about the fact that someone might make Solaris sing in other languages like Japanese or Chinese? And then just give an example of a cover song that we might hear.
Yes, and like honestly, we think that Synthesizer V is uniquely good at helping vocals sing in other languages because of all of the extra tools that are in it. And so, like, that would be extremely cool. Someone else asked that on social media, will we be, like, actively promoting songs made with Solaris and, like, doing the same thing that we do right now with fan art and, like, retweeting everything? And we will. So we will actively be searching out Solaris works and retweeting it and showing everyone everyone's works with Solaris, because we're not just creating Solaris and throwing her out there. We also want to support the people who support us and like her and everything like that. We might also expand into also showing off works with other just Synthesizer V English vocals in general, just because we're excited about all of them. And we love them all so much. And so we actually we have a specific plan about Solaris in other languages, not new voice banks, but like maybe plugin support and dictionary support, as we talked about earlier, might be something that we distribute with Solaris. There might be, speaking vaguely here, and by vaguely I mean this is something that we would like to do but don't have specific plans on when yet, maybe a sort of event where that is the focus of it, to spotlight creators who don't use English as their primary language to write songs in. It's very cool. It's I think one of the most exciting things about Synthesizer V is like how easy that becomes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I lose
Okay.
all brain past 10:30.
Sorry that we're keeping you up too.
Let's see. Meerkat P asks, would it be okay to share details from the production diary to wiki sites after its release?
Yeah, probably. We do anticipate all of that information eventually getting out there.
Yeah.
We would just please ask that you don't share direct screenshots of entire pages or redistribute the production diary, but also we can't stop you if you do. Also someone said plugin meaning script. Yeah, I keep forgetting they're called scripts in Synthesizer V. But yeah, script. Someone asked, I wonder if SynthV will ever include something similar to job plugins, and they do. It's called Scripts, and it's in Synthesizer V Studio Pro. I'm sorry, in the work that I do, like in my actual work, we call everything that's like a script, like a plugin. So please forgive my faux pas there. I do see someone asking about 5.png, which is like our final announcement for the day.
You will see
but
it.
we can't. Yeah, you'll see it soon.
We haven't gone over 2 yet.
2. Oh yeah, I guess let's talk about 2.jpeg, or is it PNG on yours?
It's JPEG.
It's JPEG.
JPEG. Okay, is it open?
It is open.
Sorry that I always have to ask. We just wanted to spotlight, since we couldn't spotlight all of the fan art during this stream, each one of us picked our favorites over the course of sort of the entire crowdfunding campaign as a fun thing to just spotlight the artists that we were very, very excited about, each of us individually. So I guess Iruna had to leave. But Iruna's favorite was on the top left, from Charlene C. Bulls on Twitter. I remember he said that he really liked the colors and just how sparkly and wonderful and just like happy she looks, and also like the art style, and the art style is just incredible. And his exact words were, "It's her." With reverence. So that was Idruna's favorite fan art over the course of the and we didn't pick any from the contest. These are all just fan arts that were posted outside of the contest. Neve or Eli, if you want to go over yours.
Love causes. I kind of like spoke with him a little briefly on Twitter about this, that I love just the entire aura of the piece, and I love the little like flares and like the blur and just like all of the effects on it, it really just kind of like that's how I kind of envision her, like a little bit like as a goddess, like in space, like just like being dazzling and beautiful. And I get flustered talking about Solaris because I love her so much, but this is I really loved the style of this piece. And I love all the fan art, but this one definitely stuck out to me a little bit because it kind of came right at the end. It was just I think the other day, so it's been
Yeah,
on my
I remember we were all surprised. It's like this wasn't a contest entry,
Yeah.
so that was very cool, and it's so cute.
Yeah, I had a very hard time choosing because I'm like, this is my favorite, and this one's my favorite, and this one's also my favorite, and that one's my favorite. So I was like, I gotta choose from all my favorites. I really like the one by Silver Mist. We went over this in the original live stream about
The spotlight.
fan art spotlight. I really like just like how she's pulling the stars out. It's like she's gonna do something. I don't know what she's gonna do, but she will do it.
She will,
She will.
as everyone was saying earlier. She will. My favorite was this piece by Cinnamon Soda, mostly because I feel like it really encapsulates like how flexible like the basic design of Solaris can be. Like you can really do anything with it, and I love how it's just gorgeous. Cinna, that was incredible. I love the sort of Central American influences in it. It sort of spoke to one of my headcanons, which was like that Solaris could look different based on like if she's a goddess, she could look different based on like the culture that like appreciates her or considers her a goddess. And I think that this is just it's so gorgeous, and I love it so much. And I hope that everyone over time will feel free, similar to how other vocal synth characters are portrayed. I hope that everyone will feel free to create their own versions of Solaris, just like any other vocal. Yeah, and like both just small edits to their design, to her design, like you can see with like Charlene's and Charlene's fan art here on the top left, like small edits to make her like easier to draw in whatever style you'd prefer, or like complete overhauls, like almost a completely different character versions, like Cinnamon Soda made. And I just think it's all so gorgeous, and it's also cool, and I don't know, that's what I think is really exciting about it.
Basically, I love all of the fan art. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I guess this will go right into a question that someone asked us is, how does it feel just to, by Evergreen OH asked, how does it feel to see this design getting fan art and headcanons, etc.?
It feels totally surreal. Like, I kind of can't believe it.
Yeah.
And literally, like, I have, like, literally had, like, a tear in my eye at some of these fan arts, because, like, all of our hard work has finally paid off, and it's just, it's such a good feeling to see that you all, like, appreciate her and, like, can kind of bring her to life in your own ways. And it really just, like, touches my heart that to see all the fan art. And I try to respond and like retweet as much as I can and like just show my support for the community, because it's just she is our love letter to the community in a way. So it's really good to see that you all love her as much as we do.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like when we were making Solaris, I was sitting here and I'm just like I don't know, so much of my life like I owe to the vocal synthesis community in like both big and small ways. Like I mentioned earlier as a joke that like the college entrance essay that I wrote was about like the technical side of vocal synthesis, and like I talked about it in like the interview that got me my first internship. Like, and in a lot of ways that's been huge. And like, you know, a lot of people in the vocal synthesis community are like my very best friends. Like it's how I met my like girlfriend that I'm moving in with starting tomorrow. Like it's changed my life, and it was just, and I know it's changed all of our lives, even outside of Solaris. And so it was just, I know it was something we talked about over and over, that it's like we need her to be good because we want her to be for everyone.
Yeah, and it's like kind of like build off of that a little bit. It's like I literally met Kanaji through Vocal Synth and through this company, and now we're living together. And like we moved, like we moved in together because we're such good friends, and we were able to make life work out, I guess, with Eclipse sounds and real life and other real life stuff
Yeah.
with like our jobs and
Oh.
stuff. So it's so surreal to be like, it's kind of the dream a little bit, like.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. And it's like, because of that, it's like we owe everyone like a great product and a great like series of products and a company that will be responsive to your needs and whatever whatever the community needs, whatever like updates need to be added to Solaris, whatever support needs to be added for her, for everyone who uses her. If we need to like create our own forums just for Solaris users, like whatever it needs to be done, like we will do it. And like we will make it happen. Because like this community is important to all four of us. And I think I can say that full-heartedly.
Not she will.
Sorry,
We will.
Our Solaris, the community.
Our Solaris. Solaris for everyone. I think that's something we talked a lot about during development too, is like Solaris doesn't belong to us. And I think I probably said this earlier because I say it a lot because I'm cheesy. But like Solaris belongs to the entire community. Like Solaris belongs to the entire community. People outside of the community who want to use her, people who listen to her. Like Solaris belongs to everyone. And oh no, the Solaris forums idea is catching on. And that was just an example. Oh no. Now I have to figure that out. But we just hope that she can be everything that everyone hopes her to be. And if she can't, we hope that we can make her that way over time and like keep improving her and keep improving everything that we do.
Actually segues a little bit into a question. That like if she releases with glitches, will we be fixing her? And if there is a Gen 4 AI, will she be updated for it?
Yes. Like, we'll update Solaris as many times as she has to be updated.
We'll beg Conver to let us update her.
Yeah, we'll beg Dream Tonics. We'll knock on their door and we'll be like, hey, please let us update her. We'll give you more money. We'll keep pulling, pulling for her as much as it takes. Yeah, there might be some errors that can't be fixed. I don't know. I haven't had any issue with AI vocals at all so far, having errors like that haven't been fixed. But we'll keep pushing, and we'll do everything we can for her, without a doubt. Someone full backwards question. Oh, full backwards. Excuse me. There's no space there. Full backwards asked, where Emma Rowley has a rock, country, pop style, what kind of voice provider would we look for in the future? Like what kind of genre? I think partially with Emma, even though for a lot of her recording artist work, she has sort of a rock, country, pop influence. With Emma, we chose her because of her flexibility.
Yeah.
As far as genres are concerned, like, yeah, a lot of her commercial music is rock, country, and pop, but she also does a lot of live jazz performances, and as a teenager was on Broadway, and so has, like, musical theater experience. And so, like, we wanted to work with, her, especially because she's just she has so much of like the flexibility and the ability for like coaching, because you can't just like sing and then the AI figures it out. Like it needs to be consistent. A lot of things are going into that, like on our end with like that kind of work. And it's like Emma has been so good, even just for the test voice bank. Emma was so good about getting us so many different takes. Like there were 6 or 7 takes just for the test voice bank. Like she has the ability, and she like listens and knows how to implement like coaching in a way that was very important for us, given her training. And that's why we thought it was very important. And that's why we thought it was very important for her to be our vocalist and for us to pursue an AI vocal, if that all makes sense. It's hard to explain without like going deeper into what we have to do behind the scenes, which we can't go super in depth into. But I hope that helps and it makes sense as to like why we chose Emma. And so for a future voice provider, if we make more vocals, we just want someone with enough technical experience to be able to be coached and take every suggestion for how difficult a lot of specific requirements are for AI training samples or standard samples, because there could be a world in which we make standard voices too. I think we want to focus on AI because it makes more sense with our company plan. Mm-hmm. But we could also theoretically do standard vocals in the future.
Cool. Someone asks, is it possible to record extra phonemes for Solaris?
I guess Solaris probably will not have extra phonemes, specifically because we're focusing on, any recording we have of an additional phoneme would be a recording that we lose from like natural English pronunciation. And so right now that is not our plan, to add extra phonemes. What is part of our plan is to show how the phonemes that are already in Synthesizer V for English can be sort of stretched to be used as extra phonemes in other languages. So for instance, like the DX phoneme can be used just very specifically as the R sample in a Japanese library. Like they're pretty close to the point where you could use them interchangeably. So, yeah. No extra phonemes, probably, just because we need to focus on making her as good as she is at, like, a basic, like, English level before we think about anything else. It could be something I guess there aren't Synthesizer V vocals right now that do that, so that might not even be something provided by Synthesizer V as a plan. So I'm not sure.
I see a couple of people right now asking about flat colors.
We'll tell you real soon.
Real soon.
Real
We
soon.
will definitely have an answer.
Someone asked, based on Miles, will Solaris sound unnatural if you tune her on an octave that's too high? Based on the Miles demo, Solaris sounds unnatural because she's a standard vocal that is only recorded at a low pitch. She will sound much more natural on a wider range in the final vocal. That is just sort of... That happens because of how limited the standard test voice bank is.
Yeah, also she was only recorded with one pitch.
Yeah, she's only one pitch. She's really small. She's a standard vocal and not an AI vocal. Yeah. She should have more of a... Well, she will have a much wider range in the final product than that test does. She will.
She will.
And she should... Well, she will. I keep saying should because, like, I want to be sure just in case something happens. But if something happens, that's what the extra funds are for. fixing that. So she will have an easier time with sort of natural human ranges. She probably will sound unnatural if you put her up extremely high,
But
because
they all do.
yeah, especially as an AI vocal, because especially as an AI vocal, because it can only learn from the samples that can physically exist.
Yeah.
And so like it's not going to perform very well at C6 because Emma can't hit C6, like things like that.
Yeah.
But it'll perform better than like a human not being able to hit the note at all.
Yeah.
So there's still more room for expression than a typical, I guess, human singer. I don't want to say she's better than a human singer because I think that they have different purposes, like vocal synths and human singers. But I want to say that she has more, in some ways, more of a range of expression than like asking a person to sing something. In a lot of ways, less, because that's just the trade-off of vocal synths.
Kind of to build off of that, All My Boring Reviews asks, how many pitches are you planning on recording for her? That's kind of not how AI works.
Yeah.
Yeah, AI is based on actual singing samples, so she won't be pitch-based. It's basically like, we'll have Emma do... I'm just throwing out a number here. This is not the right number. If we have Emma record 20 songs, that's not the right number at all. That's probably not enough, because English is complicated. But if we had Emma record 20 songs, it would learn how to sing by listening to those samples. It's like a weird... You're basically teaching a computer how to replicate a human voice with AI, so that's how you get like automatic pitch tuning and things like that, as opposed to sample-based where you have like specific pitches. And I think that's something that was hard for us to wrap our head around too, originally, just because so much of vocal synthesis has been sample-based standard style libraries with multiple pitches, and so AI is like a whole new world that that is done so differently and produces such an interesting and realistic result with such different samples. And that's what's, I think, really cool about it.
Yeah. It is very cool. And it's gonna be so good. I'm so excited. Let's see. Companion Jams asks, Connor seems like he's been very supportive just from his social media presence. How has it been like to work with him and Dreamtonics throughout the process?
Oh, Dreamtonics has been the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're just so good. Like, and we're not even saying this as like a result of contracts. They're just so good to work with. They all work, like everyone at Dreamtonics works really hard, and they like genuinely like really care about the product, and they're extremely responsive, and like, you know, it's the type of people that you work with and they make you want to work harder because of how much they genuinely care.
Yeah.
And that's been our experience with Dreamtonics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that they are just so wonderful, and they've been so helpful throughout this whole process in providing sort of guidance and also just outright support.
Yeah.
Which has been beyond helpful, and I don't know if we can ever thank them enough. So everyone go buy Synthesizer V. I'm just kidding. But maybe I'm not kidding. I think that Dreamtonics is a company worth supporting, and I think that we can all say that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah. Let's see. Fool Backwards asks, will you continue to sell merch for Solaris later on? And possibly new merch with like new art?
Maybe. So it could be something in the future that we do. They would all probably be limited run, since we don't have the resources to keep a bunch of merch forever. So we would probably reach out to artists and be like, hey, we'll pay you this much. We would like to produce this keychain like for this long, and there'll be this many copies. And then once those sell out, we just won't sell them again. It'll be very similar to how the guest artist rewards were limited for this crowdfund. It would be something like that in the future. We could do more merchandise. We would just have to see what the demand is like for that.
Yeah.
But we'd be interested in looking for multiple illustrators. Multiple illustrators for that. We probably won't announce that we're looking for illustrators like that because we'll just keep an eye out. Because, we're all very active in the vocal synthesis space, so we see people's art all the time, like big and small illustrators that we think would be great to work with Solaris. And then anyone who submits a portfolio, we keep on hand. So if we have a specific merch idea where it's like, okay, well, we want to do like an anniversary keychain in this sort of pose with this sort of expression, who's good at that? And then we go through that whole list and we're just like, this person is perfect. Like they submitted their portfolio in May in 2021, and let's go ask them right now if they would like to participate with this. Like that's sort of the idea with the portfolio submissions, because we want to work with people who want to work with us, if that makes sense.
That is related to Cinna's question of, do you think in a year or so you will still be looking for illustrators to get more official images of Solaris? Yeah, we will always be looking for more illustrators and more songwriters because we want to just keep being involved. Like we don't want to just drop Solaris and walk away. We want to keep being involved and keep like supporting people who use her and making it just a good environment. So that would be our idea. Cinna also asks, would you consider hiring other illustrators to make the box art for future voice banks? This would depend on a lot of things. It would depend on what we want to do with the voice bank, what kind of vocal it's going to be. I know a lot of people have asked, like, would you make a companion vocal to Solaris? If we made a companion vocal to Solaris, we would want to use the same illustrator. I think that makes sense. But if we made a completely different vocal, we would probably think of looking for a different illustrator. Things like that. It's too early to say because it really depends on how well Solaris does. So that's a hard maybe. Sorry that we can't give a lot of specifics on future plans. It's just we don't know what the now holds for us right now. So it all depends on so many things going right. But so many things have gone right so far. Yeah. So we can be tentatively optimistic on a lot of things. Studio Voxes asked a little bit earlier, just trying to grab them while they show up, is do Synthv voice banks allow for patching? Yes, you can push updates over time to Synthesizer V vocals. There's a whole, if you open Synthesizer V, or Eli, don't open Synthesizer V. But if you open Synthesizer V, there's, I believe it's the cloud panel. Is it the cloud panel? Wait, I have Synthesizer V. What am I doing? Yeah, I think it's the cloud panel, and it's the cloud with a little check mark. You can go into there. It's either that one or the one with the hard disk and the arrow. One of the side panels. You can go in and like check for updates on the vocals. And so like if there's an update, it'll be on, essentially it'll be on whatever server that it checks. Most of them are probably on, we don't know about this, so I'm just speculating. Most of them are probably on Dreamtonic servers. So it goes and checks the server and it's like, is there an update? And it's like, yes, there is an update. And then it shows in the editor that there's an update, and so you can hit download and then you just sort of reinstall it. But it'll download it through the editor, which is really cool. And one of the things that I love about SynthV is that you can update the vocals, and also you can check for updates in the editor, so you don't have to like watch social media for every single company, for every single vocal that you use. Like I don't have to constantly check
Tokyo 6's Twitter to see if Rika has an update. I can just go into SynthV and click like check for updates, and then it'll tell me if there's one.
This is also how
So-
you update the editor.
Yeah, it's also how you update the editor, so you don't. Although you should keep up with Dreamtonics, because they tell you a lot about new updates and when updates are coming. You should probably keep up with them on Twitter, which is at Dreamtonics. If you're an English speaker, at Dreamtonics_EN. They're great. They're very upfront about the updates that are coming as well. But you can just find out from the editor itself. Do we have questions?
Let's see. We have Edward just asks how big was her test voice bank in megabytes? Which I'm not sure because like I don't know how it can be quantified.
I could.
Well,
I can look.
Eli, don't go look. I'll go look.
I'm looking through the drive.
On.
I'm
not
assuming
stream.
on his
Okay,
phone.
I was like, please don't look on stream.
No,
we
I'm
have things that
looking
we
at my
can't
phone.
show people.
Look at
Okay,
my
yeah, I'm looking
phone.
for it as well right now. But just because
Dorothy
I'm not on
asked,
the.
if you update the voice bank with patches, can you go back to previous versions and SynthV?
I don't know.
I think you could go back. You can if you keep your original installer, because that'll install the original version. And since you have to like go sequentially through each update in Synthesizer V, if you like revert back to the original installation, then you can like step through until you get to the installation that like worked, just in case there was an error.
GQ-san, yes, we are a company. We are Eclipsed Sounds. We have more information about our company on our website, which I will post in the chat.
Yeah, we're a company. We're incorporated. We've got all the paperwork. We're a real company. And if you wanted to talk to us about like company things and company related inquiries, please use the contact form on our website for that. So if you have a specific question about collaboration or anything like that, please use that form on our website, because that's the easiest way to get our attention. Because social media sometimes will just not show DMs, even if you have DMs open completely. It's very interesting. I struggle. It happens a lot on Instagram for me, is that it just like hides it away.
Yeah.
And it's like, I want to see those DMs. Okay.
Dorothy asked, did you think of the name Solaris first or the company name first? The company name has been around much longer than Solaris.
Yeah.
Oh, I also want to talk about like what the company name means. Since there's been like a little bit of like, it's not just Eclipsed Sounds, which I think is another company. It wasn't when we originally named the company. It wasn't like that. The Eclipsed Sounds
We were
company
here
did not
first.
exist. Yeah, we existed first. And we're incorporated first and everything like that. We like checked just to be sure. Eclipsed Sounds is the idea. It's like, if you think about like the definition for eclipse, it's like eclipsed with the D. The definition is the idea. It's like obscured or like surpassed, basically. And the idea is that like, because we make vocal synthesizers, the idea is like the sound that you care about when someone uses a vocal synthesizer, it's more focus on the producer. So the like name Eclipsed Sounds is like you are more than the synthesizers that you use. Is basically the idea of the company name. Which is a little cheesy, but you know, we've been cheesy this whole time. So that's sort of the idea of what Eclipsed Sounds means. And I just think that that's great.
It is 11:42. Should we get on to the special announcements?
I think people
Yeah.
have been waiting quite a bit. It's getting a little late.
Okay, yeah, I'll talk about it. We don't have an image for the first one, and the other one is huge, and a big change. Um, but the first announcement is that, and we will have like a big document about this and like an actual like starting date for it, because we reached enough money to meet the illustration portion of our stretch goal. We obviously don't click on 5PNG since there's no image for this one.
Yeah.
They're just like, yes, please, 5G, 5JPEG, please.
The illustration is 5
Sorry to keep everyone. Sorry to keep everyone up so late.
No 5
but
quite yet.
not yet. But the first thing is that we're going to do a design contest for an alternate design for Solaris. This is another. We obviously can't do a lot of music contests yet until she's done. We also would like to do a song contest later, but we can't do that yet. So we're doing another illustration contest. This one is a design contest for a, and this is why I talked about the company name. This is a design contest for an alternate design for Synthesizer v Solaris called the Solaris Eclipsed design. And we would just ask, there will be more detail posted on this tomorrow on social media. And it will be an alternate design based on the Eclipse theme that serves, basically, it's Solaris during an eclipse, right? So the idea is you take a different spin on it, thinking about she's a sun goddess, what happens to the sun during an eclipse idea. It's a little more open because like we want to see your interpretations of Solaris. There will be details. There will be details on exactly what needs to be kept for Solaris posted tomorrow with all of the contest details. But the winner will get basically one of everything from the crowdfund. Not more than one copy of Solaris, but like a Solaris physical. Not only just a normal Solaris physical, but we have the money and the technology. We are going to, whoever's design wins will be like illustrated as a new official standing image for Solaris by our artist Superstellar, and you will receive a box version of Solaris that uses your design as the front of the box. And this will be unique. We'll just keep one for company reasons, but you will have the only other one. So it'll be a very unique experience, and it'll just go out to the winner of the company. So the winner of the contest.
Winner of the contest.
No, winner of the company.
Whoever wins the contest gets the company.
It's almost midnight. No. Don't say that. That is obviously not true.
Yeah, that's not true.
We would just ask that entries will just have to have a front and back view and be like clear to see, that you can see the you can see the design clearly, and that's that. We'll have a way more in-depth explanation of the contest and all of the rules tomorrow, so probably don't start tonight. Also, it's very late, but probably don't start until all of the information is out, or at least don't go too far. And also something else, tiny announcement. We'll also be, Superstellar has agreed to create a reference sheet with some of the money that we have. So we'll be paying for an official reference sheet with flat colors. So people were asking about that previously. That will come out. I guess we don't know how long that'll take, but it will happen, and it will be out.
Someone asks, can they draw multiple entries for the contest?
We will allow 2 entries, and that's it. And there will be one winner and one runner-up, and the runner-up won't get the like special Solaris and won't get a copy of Solaris, but will get like all of the merchandise from the crowdfund.
Full
That
backwards.
is not
At the moment, we post updates to Twitter a lot more, but we will be posting an update about this contest to Instagram.
Yeah, it'll be posted on Instagram. Instagram is just a hard platform to post a lot of small updates to, just because you have to have an image for each one. So Twitter is probably the best platform to follow us for updates. But we always post big updates to Instagram as well. Oh, someone asks, well, question P, I gotta stop not reading people's usernames. Question P asks, what will Solaris have in her physical box? Solaris Physical will have, obviously, the box insert at the front, the actual case, a little booklet that will have, we're still working on what goes in it, but probably some general usage information on how to use Synthesizer V, some general information on Solaris, a nice little picture, maybe another little picture that's unique to the booklet, and then a disc. And that will be what is in her box. Just the usual DVD pamphlet thing. Except we'll put together a nice pamphlet. Probably some of the concept art will be in the pamphlet as well. Not all of it, because the pamphlet can't be big enough, but some of it. And that will be what's in her box. Excuse me. We'll be updating all of our social media with the big announcements from today, and Twitter is just always the best place to catch us for small announcements and tiny questions, and every little thing gets posted on Twitter, every big thing gets posted everywhere.
And yes, it's time for 5JPEG.
Okay, before you open 5JPEG.
Before I open 5JPEG.
Before you open 5JPEG, we have some updates to Solaris's box presentation. Kind of a small update, but there's sort of a lot that goes along with it, so please stay for some explanation. Okay, go ahead and open 5JPEG.
5JPEG.
So this is different. Solaris is going through a name change. Moving on from the crowdfund. It is a one-letter name change from Solaris to Solaria. There's a lot of reasons for this, and I'll go through all of them, and like a big update will be posted. Regarding this. So this happens because there's a few things. One, there's a million things named Solaris. There's a lot of changes. There's just, when you search Solaris, you find a million different things. And so calling her Solaria is going to be sort of keep her unique and different from everything named Solaris. In addition, the name Solaria, Solaria more immediately invokes the idea of a singer than the name Solaris. Solaris is obviously just the name of the sun. Solaria is like a solar aria, so like a solar themed singer, and so it's just a better name going forward for the product, especially for people outside of the vocal synthesis sphere. When they hear about the product, this will be more obvious what it is on first glance. We made this change sort of way earlier during the crowdfund, but we can't change a lot. We can't change a lot about the actual crowdfund page. But we'll talk about. Yeah, thank you. Congrats on not accidentally saying Solaria during the stream. Yeah, we've been calling her Solaria internally for quite some time. We hope that you'll accept this name change. Obviously, it's not changing much of anything at all. It is a singular letter name change and should help her more obviously be a singer in the future. And there's a lot fewer things named Solaria than there are named Solaris. You can pronounce it as Solaria or Solaria. It's not a huge change. It's just kind of a big change. And I hope that it doesn't change anything for you. You can still feel free to call her Solaris all you want, but this is her new name going forward as a product. Obviously, not much has changed. The logo is 99% the same. So I hope that's great. Sorry that we had to leave this till the end of the crowdfund, but it had to wait. Someone asks, how come the crowdfund amount here isn't updated even though we've passed the goal? The crowdfund amount, where? Is it in the description? Or...
Yes, it says if the Indiegogo campaign reaches 100. I don't know if that's what they're referencing. But...
Oh, yeah, sorry. That was written far before we met the goal, so we'll edit the description afterwards when this gets uploaded.
I saw someone say that Circus has to update his copy pasta.
Sorry to spring this on everyone right at the end, but obviously it's not a huge change, and it won't change anything else about her. It'll just change the name of the character and the product. But everything else about her remains the same. I hope it won't be too much of an adjustment period, but we'll be updating everything starting tonight and over the time, and over the next couple days. So that's everything. So thank you all so much for attending our final live stream. Let's go and check the crowdfund page for the last time on a live stream.
Just under 42. We're
just under 42,000.
Yeah, we're at...
So thank you all so much for all of your support. It really means everything, and we still hope that we can make Solaria everything that you hope that she can be. We'll update everything over the next couple days to use the name Solaria instead of the name Solaris, and we will update you on everything moving on from this point in her development. So thank you all so much, and have a good evening.
Yeah. Thank you all for coming.
Everybody.